Hello and welcome. It is 7 o'clock and welcome to Shiver. Hi there, I'm Andy from Twisted Narrative, and tonight we are going to enter Giggle's Funhouse. We are both honoured and very privileged to have Charlie here and Adam, two of the Shiver team, to kind of run this actual play for us. But before we go into that, we're going to do a quick hello and welcome and go around the table. I would like to welcome everybody that's watching live. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoy this tale of terror. If you're not watching live, if you're watching on catch up, thank you very much again. If you've got any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. All of the Shiver team's socials are also in the comments, so please check them out. So without further ado, let us introduce our cast. We'll start off with you, Kristian.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kristian. I'll describe my character in a bit when asked, but I am a game master and resident hanger-on of Andy's. I'm on the 6 o'clock club Monday through to Wednesday, and I play in many of Andy's games.
Yeah. Then we'll move on to Charlie.
Hello, I'm Charlie Menzies. I'm the lead writer and creative at Parable Games, and in this case for Shiver.
Then Adam.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm part of the Parable Games team, writing the upcoming expansions Slasher and Blockbuster.
Amazing. And last but certainly not least, Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a writer of games and other various things, working with Andy on a number of projects, and here to play some Shiver.
Well, this is where the true horror begins, as I, Andy from Twisted Narrative, hand over total control of my entire livelihood to Charlie. Thank you very much for this. I can't wait. But over to you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, and just a quick thank you for trusting me with the reins, Andy. I very much appreciate it. But yes, let us now all delve into horror as we explore Giggle's Funhouse. So, it's 1982, and it's nearing the end of your high school experience in the small town of Grave Lake. On the cusp of summer, it's a season of parties and madness that is ensuing before some of you are departing for college or the world of work. And it is here our unlikely group of teens find themselves on the outskirts of town in a last-ditch effort to make sure they don't miss the party to end all parties. Hosted by the most popular and wealthy girl in school, Monica Spewitt, this guest list is very, very exclusive, and she has issued a challenge to this particular group of teenage outcasts to get themselves an invite. They must break into the abandoned carnival ground on Grave Lake's outskirts and bring her back a trophy, a specific one, the red nose of Giggles the Clown. This infamous clown was plastered all over the peeling posters for the carnival, his funhouse sitting at the fairground's crumbling heart. Some say he died with the carnival when it shut down. Others say he caused its death when he went on a murderous rampage, shuttering its doors for good. All you know is an artifact from the legacy of this spooky legend is your ticket to the party, and none of you want to miss out. So, we will take our scene with our kind of our ragtag team of teenagers as the sun is setting in the sky, casting a hazy kind of orange glow over the rusted carnival that is ahead of you. And in your way is a long chain link fence with barbed wire on its top, shimmering in the fading light, and this surrounds the entire carnival. Despite night rolling in, the heat still remains, and it is an oppressive mugginess that clings to all of your skin like a wet rag as the air buzzes with blood-hungry insects. So, you're assembled in front of this fence, and you see the gates are sealed with a padlock flecked with red rust. All is quiet on the other side, apart from the colourful and ragged flag of the carnival gently blowing in the sluggish breeze atop the faded stripes of the big top tent at the carnival centre and your objective lies within. So, as you're kind of all assembled, would you like to introduce your characters for me? As in kind of classic way, the camera has floated down with the scene of the carnival and the setting sun for our 4 teenagers lined up in a line looking at this vista in front of them. So who would like to introduce themselves first?
I'm more than happy to go first.
Fantastic.
So my character is Rudy Snivels Wright. He's quite short. He is wearing a flannel shirt with a cap, and he's got a burger stash. Puberty's kicked in, but not enough, unfortunately. His eyes are constantly darting around him, and he's always he's wringing his hands a little bit.
Fantastic. I won't get I know what Rudy is afraid of, but we won't reveal it for now, because I think for those watching at home, it's a lot funnier if that comes out organically in this scenario. Excellent. So we have Rudy Snivels Wright, kind of mustache fading in, looking out over this scene. Who would like to introduce themselves next?
Well, sorry, you go first, Matt.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
So you see Johnny Wirren, known as Wires to his friend, person he knows, who is standing in a slightly too big knitted jumper with kind of green and black stripes, and hands in pockets in kind of cargo trousers that have got pockets all over them. Each appears to be filled with stuff, and kind of idly twisting some wire that is his namesake, and looking distractedly at the fence and kind of everything else around it, mind wandering somewhat out of curiosity as much as anything else.
Fantastic. Excellent. Okay, so Andy and Adam, you remain. Who would like to introduce themselves?
Okay, me. The camera pans down on Cyrus Edgar. I hate the name Cyrus. I mean, who names their son with the last name of some kind of country and western singer? So I want you all to, Eddy, please, if that's not too much trouble, just it gets to me a little bit. I'm the youngest of the group. That's fairly obvious. A little bit nervous, but well, you're the big boys, aren't you? I'm sure we can do this. Sort of longish hair, glasses, of course, constantly losing them, and they've had to be repaired with a bit of tape. But I need them for my art. I kind of like to do a little bit of art because that's what I'm into. A bit of acne, puberty has kicked in for me. It hasn't got any nice facial hair. I've got spots, but it's just one of those things, really. And you see that I've come prepared, because boy, do I have a big backpack on my back. It's weighing me down, actually. It's so heavy. Big kind of Black Ops, American Forces style. Well, they said that in the back of the comic book when they were advertising it anyway. Couldn't not buy it. That's me, Eddy.
Fantastic. So yes, the camera moves across as we come across your character, leaning slightly back on your heels of the weight of your backpack, as you're kind of almost rocking slightly in the near non-existent breeze. And finally, we have Adam. Would you like to introduce your character for us, please?
Yeah, there we go. Standing a little bit away from the group, perhaps out of distaste, is Duncan Bogdanovich, who from the outside looks like the ideal and stereotypical jock. He's got his Letterman jacket on, he's got a nice chiseled, shaved chin. But if you look a bit closer, you might realize that the Letterman jacket doesn't seem quite right. And he's definitely with this group by force. He definitely thinks he was owed an invite to the Spewit party. But perhaps when the rest of the teams realized that he wasn't actually playing any sports, but just rather standing around and looking like he did, he was kicked off of the lacrosse, football, soccer, and golf society teams. So he's looking for a way back into the popular crowd's good graces.
Fantastic. So that actually touches on a point that I think is quite interesting here. So you all attend the same high school, but the thing I'm curious to know before we start kind of making our way into the carnival, are any of you already friends with one another? Is this an alliance of convenience, of kind of four heads making better than one to get Giggles' red clown nose? Or on the other end of this, is there any sense of kind of mistrust or distaste for one another? I think we've already got a sense where Duncan Bogdanovich, or D-bogs to his friends, stands potentially with you all.
I'm just pleased that you've let me sort of come along. Really, I like you all.
I think definitely Snivels probably wouldn't be friends with anybody, full stop. But he would try to be friends with people that he thinks can get him things. So he's aware of everybody, and at the moment he's trying to assess which one he's going to be friends with in the future.
Wires is generally friendly to everybody when they can hold his attention for longer than the nearest thing that can be unscrewed and taken apart. But so he's probably aware of everyone, but I don't think he's necessarily close with anybody, particularly in the quartet as yet.
Okay, fantastic. So it's very much everyone's aware of one another, and you've kind of all arrived and assembled knowing that this is your objective.
Yeah,
fantastic. So, with all this in mind, your first obstacle. So, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the carnival is surrounded by this large chain link fence, topped with barbed wire. You see there are gates, but they are still kind of secured with a heavy padlock, although it is very kind of flecked heavily with rust, as it was sealed up many, many years ago. So the only way to get into Giggle's Funhouse is to get over this fence. So how do you think your characters would kind of approach this kind of individually, or do you think you would try and work together in some way to get in towards Giggle's Funhouse? Well,
the way that I see it is that it's not winner takes all here, is it? If we get the prize, then we'll all get an invite. And I'd like to put it out here now that I have no interest in her at all. I just want to go to the party. You see, there's someone else that I kind of want to meet. So we should band together. Absolutely. It makes sense. Strength in numbers, as they say. I mean, just like the X-Men. We're like the X-Men, yeah.
Eddy, what you're saying sounds a lot like socialism, and I won't stand for it.
Well, okay.
I mean, there's definitely something to be said for being stronger than the sum of its parts, though. So I guess Ed's got a point there. We could try to combine our efforts. It might be useful. I mean, I'm open to the idea. I'll put it that way. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yo, D-bogs, buddy. There's I mean, you're a strong guy, aren't you? Surely you can, the rust. Look at you.
Like Colossus.
You nerd. You could probably pull it apart. Come on, man. Come on. We go in, we get the nose, we go out, we're all at the party, and you can be getting to first base with Monica Spewitt.
I mean, you do all those sports as well. I mean, you're yeah.
Yeah, D-bogs shoots Eddy. You look like he's not sure if he's making fun of him for being kicked off the team or not.
He's
but
oblivious.
I think weirdly, Snivels' little speech there probably does work. I mean, yeah, okay. D-bogs is going to try and he's going to try and break the rust on the lock, or at least jimmy the gate open wide enough to get through.
Okay, excellent. So are you basically just going to get your fingers in the gate and try and yank it open and see if you can break the lock that way? Is that the plan?
That's
Nice.
it. Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so I would like you to roll a grit check for me, please.
Okay. We're doing this in a nice new virtual system.
So fingers crossed the tech actually works here.
Cool, so let me clear the board, and then so we've got it clear. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so D-bogs is a bulky boy, so that's 5 archetype die, 5 core die.
Oh, look at that! It's magic.
Oh,
hello.
Okay. Okay, so looking at this, as we can see this on the stream, we have a grit symbol there, which is our orange fist. We also have, as Adam correctly said, he's playing a warrior. He is a bulky boy, playing as a jock, or a kind of slightly faux jock, I must say. He gets to roll a talent die because he's talented in kind of acts of physical strength. So he rolled a talent symbol, which is the star there. So that's a universal success for everything that isn't strange, which is that little purple S colored purple eye over there on the left. So in this case, it's a success. You kind of heave and tug and pull on the gate, and it groans and creaks and pulls the lock apart as the gates swing wide open with a creak, and you narrowly avoid slicing your hand on the rusty metal and probably needing a tetanus jab. Fantastic.
Way to go. I try to high five you.
Instinctively, without thinking, D-bogs goes and responds the high five.
Oh, yay!
What have I done?
Fantastic. So, you are you all making your way in through the gates into the old abandoned carnival ground?
Yep, I'll be at the back.
Fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
Snivels taking up the rear. Love it. So, as you kind of make your way in, you can see the big top kind of at the center of the carnival, but it is quite a large carnival ground. It was a kind of fairground that had actually quite a large reputation back in the day before whatever the vagaries of what happened that caused it to close down. It is now kind of the point of local superstition and kind of like folk tales as to what happened here. But the main thing that you're kind of met with as you enter the carnival is a old, almost slightly maze-like network of carnival games. These kind of big, old, rotting wooden booths filled with carnival elements that you can weave your way through. However, if some of you would like to doss off slightly and have a little play of some of the games, there are a variety of wonders that you could play and potentially win yourself a useful prize if you so wish.
I am definitely curious enough to try something, if only to try and work out how they work, or if there's any bits I could take.
Excellent. So, what we have on offer as you begin moving your way through, you spot various booths and stalls in states of disrepair. But you notice there is a test your strength machine. Its large wooden mallet still attached by a chain. A ring toss, which seems to kind of have some sort of kind of a stack free on the central wand. You may win yourself some form of prize. There is an old glimmer of an arcade. Most of the screens busted, but you hear a tinkling of some music and lights from inside. You'd have to kind of go in there and investigate. There is a kind of a classic like Fez kind of wearing like monkey in a little booth with a ball and 3 cups. And then right next to that one, there is a strange looking dark booth where all you can kind of see is the shadow of a figure, and all it says above the top of it is Zoltar, the fortune teller.
Oh, this is amazing, isn't it? Why on earth did they close this down? It should still be open. Look at it. All of these things.
Because of the murders. That's why they closed it down.
What murders? No.
Look. Let's just do what we're here to do, and then I'll go to the party, and you can get to first base, and I can get to the liquor cabinet.
Okay, but first I want to look at the monkey.
Yeah, lighten up, Snivels, and stop trying to scare Eddy.
I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, but I'm with you. It's all good.
Yeah, Duncan wants to test his strength. It's an opportunity he can't resist.
Okay, so
I think Snivels is going to follow the clear strongest person here as a measure of forging a new friendship.
Excellent. And how about Eddy? Is there anything that's drawing Eddy's
All
eye?
of it.
All of it.
I'm kind of like stuck for choice, but I mean, Zoltan sounds amazing. Fortune telling. I mean, and it's dark, you know.
Fantastic. So let's start with Johnny Wires first. So you begin making your way over to the kind of find the ball machine. And you kind of see the rules very placed out very simply of basically kind of find the ball, win a prize, find 2, get something bigger, find 3. Oh, you betcha this prize is going to blow your socks off. And as you kind of press the button, you see the horrible kind of ratchet of this monkey starts like smashes its kind of cups together like cymbals, puts it down and starts moving the cups around. And as you're watching for our first one, I'd like you to roll a smarts check for me for the first challenge.
Right, forgive my ignorance. I've got 5 in smart, so that's 5d6, or 5 of the dice.
Yeah.
And then I've got 1 talent. Do I do a talent dice as well?
You do indeed, yes.
Okay, 5 plus 1.
You have to click on the D6 a number of times too.
That's clever. Okay.
Yay! It works.
There we are.
Look at that.
Fantastic. So that's 3 successes. So you're kind of almost rolling your eyes at the ease of as this janky arms move the ball very slowly around, and you know evidently where it is, and press the button in front, and it goes success, and then it kind of puts it down and starts going for round 2. So if you could roll another smarts check for me, please.
Oh crap.
Oh yes, sorry, I forgot to mention. In the top right, if you just hit I'll just clear the board. But there's a pick up your dice thing. I've just left it so it stays permanent, so we can kind of talk about the dice. But I've cleared that. So if you'd like to so if you'd like to roll that again, I'll keep an eye on the dice tray and make sure that doesn't happen.
Apologies.
No worries.
Okay.
Fantastic. So we've got 1 success. Excellent. And it's this time it all of a sudden the monkey's arms begin to move quite gracefully. And it begins moving faster and faster and faster. The jankiness actually seeming to have been a bit of part of the con, but you manage to catch just a glimmer of where it may be, and press the button and get it correct. So you've got 2, and you've got 1 more attempt. So if you'd like to roll 1 last and final time to see if you can win the big prize, let's see if you get it. Excellent. So you've got 1 success there, and 1 strange, but you also rolled 2 wit. So I'm going to reveal something that you notice, that the monkey isn't just hiding the ball; it is trying to do something else. And you notice in the classic game that this is, and it is usually a street con, out of the corner of your eye, you realize it has slipped the ball down into a little compartment, and basically there are the ball is under none of the cups.
Nice. Is there a button for none of the cups?
There isn't, but I'm going to say with your knowledge of the of kind of like bits and machines and having rolled so many smarts cumulatively, you think that potentially if you press all 3 buttons at the same time, you might
Yeah.
actually get the result you're after.
I will do that.
Fantastic. You press all 3 buttons, and the monkey kind of goes override. And then it kind of rumbles, and something falls down into the shooted slots at the bottom of the machine. Your prize.
I will curiously pick it up and see what it is.
Okay, roll a wit check for me as
Wit.
you put your hand into the dark slot underneath the machine.
See, now you said it like that, I don't want to.
Oh, so yes. So with one wit, you gingerly reach in and you manage to remove your prize quite carefully. And you're glad that you did, because when you look at it, you realize what it is. This is a very old, possibly now banned, what's called the Hand Zapper 3000. So it's the classic gag joke thing that you would strap in your palm, grab somebody's hand and shock them. So this is currently a weapon for you. It rolls off of smarts to attack somebody with it. It's of close range, and it will deal 3 shock damage because this thing is illegal. It is. It should not be been in production from the get go.
Oh, okay, and then the skill was smarts. You said yes.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
So yes. So yeah, with the Hand Zapper 3000 attached to your hand, and the monkey cackling maniacally inside the booth, we're going to cut over, I think, to the test of strength machine, where we're going to find Snivels following behind D-bogs. So you see ahead of you a large kind of very typical test your strength machine with the big central column with a kind of rating out of 1,000. Yeah, you have your kind of big, like round red pressure plates and this large mallet that's attached by a thick and heavy chain to the stand, so it can't be stolen or kind of run away with. It says here it is basically like get to 500, win a small prize. 750, ooh, them some muscles, get something a little bit larger. And then 1,000 is Hercules, and it just has like all the prize, just a big prize sign right at the top. So, would you like to try your hand at the test your strength? And I'm assuming, does D-bogs want to go first, or is Snivels curious?
Oh no, Snivels isn't taking part. He's just here to he's just here to back up D-bogs. Come on, D-bogs, you got this. You got this. You can go right to the top. Come on, man, you can do
This
it.
is the yes man that D-bogs has been looking for his whole life.
Until you
I mean,
fail.
which could be right now. Yeah, this is D-bogs thing. This is he's gonna give this a go. It's the classic mallet situation, so he's gonna give the mallet a bit of a twirl and really take it in.
Excellent, cool. So yeah, you kind of heave up the kind of heavy wooden mallet and kind of get yourself in your stance ready to strike. So can you roll a grit check for me to see how well you do?
Would you say this is a feat of athleticism?
I would, yes, I would in this case.
Okay, so I get an extra talent die because he is an athlete. Oh, this could go horribly wrong.
Yeah. So just as Adam's rolling, just to explain, so that's part of a feature of Adam's background, which is a part of his character that gives you a unique ability, but also a flaw, which if Adam doesn't do well, which in this case he has got enough to succeed, but if Adam had failed, potentially that doom cost there, the strange, might be doubled. So once we're not testing old D-bogs' strength, that might come back to haunt him later in the game. So with two successes, you heave up the mallet and you slam it down on the pressure pad, and it goes and it gets up to 750, 800 teeters near the top, but doesn't quite get there, and then comes back down. And it kind of elicits a kind of like loud, shrill kind of bells and whistles, like celebration sound. As you hear this thing you've noticed actually now, kind of getting closer to looking at it, is almost bifurcated a clown's face where this large pole is. And you hear a hoo 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 hoo! You've won yourself a prize, but not the biggest one. And you see, and there's a little rattle from a machine kind of on the side, and something slots down again into a dark tray.
Snivels, you want to grab me my new toy?
Yeah, D-bogs. Yeah, I'll get on it. And he's going to scurry over and pick it up and take a look at it.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, you reach your hand in to the dark slot and feel what it feels to be something kind of like in a long box, and you kind of slowly pull it out, and yeah, as you turn it over in your hand, you see the little slugger starter set, and inside it is a pretty nice, like, old, like, kind of classic wooden baseball bat, and a kind of heavy, kind of hard leather baseball, all kind of like inside a kind of nice box with a kind of cartoon kid in a cap just swinging a full home run. The box is kind of like faded. It looks very, very old. Like that prize has been in that machine for at least a decade.
I'm gonna hand it, or probably open it and hand the bat straight to D-bogs. Say, hey, batter up. And I think he'll keep the ball for now and just like, can I keep hold of the ball until you need it? You know.
Yeah, you can be my ball man.
Success.
Excellent. So, you have both gotten yourself items that you can actually use as weapons. So for your baseball bat, or should I say, the little slugger, does 2 blunt damage, is close, and rolls off of grit. And if you want to hurl that baseball at someone, it is a similar 2 blunt damage, but will require wit, and you can throw it medium range. So that's around kind of 50-ish feet, depending on how strong your arm is.
Not that strong.
Yeah, I may decrease the distance on that one for Snivels.
It's probably for the best. He's only got little arms.
Yeah.
What was the damage on Little Slugger?
2 blunt damage.
No.
Fantastic. And finally, as you're kind of like swinging through with the bat, kind of testing its weight in your hand, I imagine Snivels smiling, knowing that his plan is coming to the fore, throwing the baseball up and down in his hand menacingly.
Yes. Yes.
We cut over to Eddy, who is enthusiastically, rucksack in tow, approaching Zoltan, the fortune teller machine. So there is a little sign that it costs 1 dime to activate the machine. Do you think Eddy be wanting to burn a dime on this? Do you think?
Oh yeah. I mean, I work. I mean, I don't just do my schoolwork. I've got a paper round, and I need to earn those dollars so I can buy my comics. So I've got some coins on me. And I want to know what my future is. It's got to be good, isn't it?
Yeah. Fantastic. So, what I would like you to roll for me first. You said you're a paper boy, so
yeah.
Could you roll a heart check for me to see how many tips you get on your paper round? Because I'm going to let that determine the amount of dimes for how charming you are to your customers.
Okay, so this is, my heart is just 3. I took a negative to grit, just so you know.
Okay.
So we need to roll 3 of these fellas, don't we?
Yeah, let me. Oh wait, sorry. Can you just do that again? Sorry, I keep forgetting to clear the board. I'm having to jump between.
I'm pleased you said that, because that wasn't very good. People don't like me. Let me try that again.
Oh, excellent! So we've got one heart, So I'm going to say yes. You reach in your pocket and you find 2 shiny dimes. The one that you would save for another issue of your comic, and an extra that one of the kindly old ladies on your paper round route gave you. So you can choose to spend both dimes if you like, and get 2 different fortune cards, or you can just spend it on one.
I mean, 2. Are they going to be different? How do I choose then? What? Oh, they're going to be the same. I could test it out. Yeah, if they're both the same, it must be true. So I throw the first coin in anyway.
Okay.
Or do I have to load up at the same time?
So you put the first one in, and it will kind of like judder into life as this creepy kind of old kind of puppet kind of begins to move forwards, and its hand shudders over to a deck of cards, rotates its hand over like it's divining some form of future. It gets one and then just slides it into the chute as it slides down kind of into the slot for you to collect. But what I would like you to do to determine what your future is going to be, for your first one, I would like you to roll a luck check for me, please.
Okay, now I do a talent dice as well for this, don't I? Because I'm lucky. Is that right?
You are indeed, yes.
So we have 5 of these and 1 of these. Hopefully I'll set it up properly.
Oh, fantastic! So, with this, so you've got a talent silver dice. You've got 1 success, but you've also got 3 heart. So this fortune is going to smile down upon you. So you kind of pick up the kind of little yellowed card from out of the machine, and it just says, "Fortune will favor the bold." And so what this item will be is this is a piece of luck incarnate for you. So this is the Fortune's favor card. So what you can do, if you want to make a note of this on your sheet, you can expend your Fortune's favor card. If you have failed a roll and you don't like the result, you can expend the Fortune's favor card to re-roll. And that doesn't have to be just for any rolls that Eddy makes. You can decide for that to be for another person as well.
Okay.
So Eddy can kind of shape his future. Excellent. So if you would like to roll again, so let me just clear the board quickly. Then we can kind of see potentially what the second.
Yeah, for science. I mean, surely it's got to be the same. Another luck one, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, do another luck one. Oh, I can't see what that last thing is up there.
So I've got 1 clover leaf, 1 strange, 1 key, 1 a rose, and I'm not sure what the final one was.
It was a smart.
Smart. Cheers.
It's a smart. Excellent. So you've got 2. So you've got 2 successes there. Excellent. So this one, this little yellowed card, you pull out, and it says chance shines upon you. So as you're rolling for luck, and you kind of actually need these in your roll, what I'm going to say that this does is the Fool as an archetype. So everyone's character is able to bank luck. So when they roll, when you make any roll and you have a loose luck symbol that's not being used in the roll in any way, you can bank one of them, but only one. The Fool, which then can basically, you can declare it and throw it into your pool, add an extra dice, and get a little bit of a leg up when you're rolling. The Fool, however, works a little bit differently. So the Fool, their first skill is banking on it. So they can bank 3 luck points at any given time and expend them however they wish. So with chance smiling upon you with this card, Andy, I'm going to say that your luck bank instantly is filled.
Right.
So you get 3 luck points
Wow.
straight away. So it is now filled up and ready to go.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I feel full on Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
of course, she's got probability manipulation, not shaping reality. I mean, that would be ridiculous if she could do something like that.
Yeah. And as you turn to walk away from the machine, your
Mhm.
2 little yellowed cards in hand, pleased as punch of that fortune smiling upon you, the machine shudders behind you. And the fortune teller reaches over to the deck once more. You haven't put another dime in, you haven't pressed any button, and it puts its hand over the cards and then sweeps one over. And another card exits into the slot for you to collect if you would like.
My eyes go wide as I kind of turn. Thank you, Dr. Strange. I run forward and grab the card.
Okay. So you grab the card and you kind of hesitantly turn it over. And it has just 3 words on it. Beware the clown. And just a faint element in your kind of that you hear as you're reading that clown. Do you think you hear echoing across the whole carnival grounder?
Okay, that shakes me. Start looking around. Where are the others? Where are the others? I'm by myself.
Yeah. And yes, what I would like you to do with that creepy little event happening, I'd like you to roll our first fear check of the game. So when you are frightened by something, so this can be by one of the fears that the characters have, or just something intensely spooky that's happening in the game, you have to roll a strange check. And the more scary the thing, the more strange you will need to roll in order to keep your cool.
So this is just the number of dice, just to clarify for myself and the audience, that I've got in my strange ability. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So for you, it will be free.
Yeah.
But remember, you do have those free banked luck. So if you wanted, you could expend one of those out of your bank and bring it up to 4, or to 5, or to 6 if you wanted to spend all 3.
I mean, it would make sense, but let's get scared.
Yeah. Excellent. So you've actually managed to succeed. So with one strange symbol there, that's enough for you to kind of shake it off and just be like, it's just one of the carnival games. It's just one of the many kind of weird little noises that they're making. Probably somebody's activated some kind of game and they've been successful. And it's making a load of noise that sounds like a spooky clown. The spooky clown is dead or not around. You know it's not a thing.
Of course it's
just move on. You've got your lucky cards. You're happy. You're good. You're Scarlet Witch. You're Scarlet Witch. You say to yourself.
Well, no, I think I might clench my fists together and go schnick schnick, and I'll walk forward.
Yeah,
it wouldn't scare Logan.
Wonderful, excellent. And you begin kind of making your way back to the group. So is there any other carnival games that any of you would like to explore before moving on to the Funhouse, or do you feel entertained enough by the booths and their temptations?
I approach the rest of the group, and you see me kind of doing this strange kind of flailing, making a noise.
I'm going to try and share a look with D-bogs, like nerds.
I mean, bearing in mind I've got this oversized backpack on as well that is pulling me backwards, so it is not graceful in the slightest.
Yeah, D-bogs is going to try and steady the backpack attached to the kid running towards him.
Ah, cheers. Well, I've got some cards. You're all got like baseball bats.
You got cards. You got some cards.
Yeah.
All we've got is a bat, a ball, and what is that?
I think illegal, but I like it.
You, as you said that, you put your hand up, Johnny, and it sparks. Yeah.
I can fix that. It's cool. So, shall we keep going?
Yeah. The sooner we get there, the sooner we can get out, and the sooner we can get to the party.
Sure. Or find interesting things inside. Either way.
Yeah, D-bogs is going to return the look to Snivels and be like, nerds.
Excellent. And with that, you continue weaving your way through the maze of games and amusements until you find yourself in the large open space at the center of the carnival, which is dominated by a big top tent, surrounded yet again by another jagged chain link fence with vicious barbed wire upon the top. The only entrance, it seems, kind of the complex leading into this big top, appears to be through a funhouse, which looks anything but. The doorway is situated, you see, within the maw of a wooden clown's jaws. A big kind of flat facade, crudely painted. The smiling kind of clown's mouth agape. It's kind of pointed and slightly kind of off-kilter teeth that have been either snapped or knocked askew by various teenagers visiting, making it look like a snaggle-toothed horror. And you see a dark tunnel lying beyond, and above it you see a faded sign reading Giggle's Funhouse, where the fun won't stop until you drop.
This is
Ominous.
ominous. This is arcade. This is. Oh yeah, this is exciting.
Is the power still on at this carnival? Is there like lights around and things like that?
So it seems like the odd bits of machines are on and off. Like it seems to be only portions are. You imagine like that maybe somebody's like kind of wired it in somewhere, or maybe there's like one active generator still kicking somehow. But yeah, it's very sporadic, is what you've noticed.
But I probably feel a little more confident walking into this. Only a little. Hey, okay. Looks like we got to go through here, so come on.
I hope we don't get trapped in a giant pinball machine. That's what he did.
Who did?
Arcade. I reach into my backpack and pull out X-Men issue 121. Look,
I've already pushed past you.
watch out! It could be.
And I pushed past you to go straight to the entrance to do the after you.
Yeah, D-bogs is actually looking at the comic book a little bit.
Yeah, it's classic. Not quite the first appearance of Arcade, but they trap the X-Men in this pinball machine. Look, they're in big balls and they're boing, boing, boing. Amazing. Just in case, you never know.
I do like a book with pictures in it.
I've got plenty of those in my pack. I bet you like Daredevil. Frank Miller's doing it's just taken over writing on it. It's dark. It's really dark.
D-bogs is actually very interested in this, but he's also putting a hand on Eddie's back and kind of ushering him into the clown's maw.
Right. Push Eddie forward. Thank you very much. There's no resistance. I'm in my own world now, talking all sorts of garbage, basically. But yeah, if I'm gently guided forward, I find myself in the funhouse.
I will follow along, but also keeping an eye out, just because you mentioned about lights flickering and stuff like that. Is there any sign or sound of any generators nearby?
Ooh, a roll a wit check for me.
3 of those.
So that may not look like a success. However, so in Shiver, when you roll 2 luck in a pool, you can smash them together to do a couple of things. So you can smash them together to create a single success of any type.
Nice.
In this case, you could succeed and get 1 wit. Or in the case of, although we haven't really had many failures yet, you could use it to tick 1 minute back on the doom clock. Which is something that will probably come in a little bit later as some rolls start heating up a little bit.
I'll convert it to us. Oh, sorry.
And then the last thing is as well, if you wanted to split that up, you could bank 1 of those luck for later, but it would mean you wouldn't succeed in this case.
I think I'll bank 1, if I may, because we guys are moving in, so I will follow on.
So yes, you look around, kind of listening, and yes, it does still seem very quiet and still. But as you're looking around listening something, I would like you to roll another wit check, but not for listening for a generator this time, as something catches the corner of your eye. Oh, right. So you've got 2 successes there. So as you kind of are looking around, like kind of like trying to listen, you're struggling to kind of hear anything, but then you hear a faint and as you catch a tiny glimpse through the latticed network of kind of amusement halls and kind of like booths, the shimmer of what appears to be a kind of a pancake white face and a little frizzle edge of blue hair moving out of sight.
Okay. I am curious
Hmm.
in capital letters on my character sheet. I feel like I'd probably follow that on impulse.
Okay.
But so just to clarify, the floor, do I have to check against it, or can I choose to try and resist the temptation?
So you can choose to try and resist the temptation. So if you want to resist the temptation, that's when you have to. So if you fall into the temptation, then you can just do it, as it were, as your floor. If you don't think your character would resist, in this case, if you think you're kind of it's tempting, but there is an objective kind of in the other way, then you may roll to resist, for example.
I will try to resist, I think.
Okay. Fantastic. Right. Let me clear the board quickly. And then, yes, if you'd like to roll to resist your curious nature.
Okay. And it's a smarts roll, yeah?
Yes.
5 of those plus a talent die.
So this is one little glitch that we have at the moment. So that is actually a single success, that blank side. I've been trying to fix this all morning and I couldn't do it. But yes, but it will be very soon. So yes, so that is a single success. I say with 3 hearts in there as well, you kind of think, ooh, if I split away from the group at this point and juncture, as curious as I am, you won't get the red nose probably. That would allow you to tinker around with whatever is in Mona Lewinsky's. It's very expensive. Not Lewinsky, Jesus Christ. Spew it.
Story took a very different turn then.
Yeah, Monica Freudian said Monica Spewitt. I'm sorry, everybody. In Monica Spewitt's house, she probably has a very expensive hi-fi system. But also there is that slight sensation of like you feel potentially splitting up could be quite dangerous. You kind of get a little chill, a little shiver running up your spine. So yes, you successfully resist, and kind of you take a step back away from what you saw and the spooky giggling echoing out from the rest of the carnival ground. Okay, so kind of turning back towards the funhouse, we have D-bogs ushering Eddy in, and I imagine Snivels and Johnny at the back, kind of now walking. So do we all enter Giggle's funhouse?
Yes.
Yes.
Fabulous. Right. So you walk inside to the funhouse, and it is a surprisingly drab affair in this first room. There are kind of large kind of bits of chipboard, kind of like roughly lined up, crudely painted red, and kind of like very odd, misshapen kind of standees of clowns cut out of wood as well. You think that they wanted them to kind of look funny and a little bit silly, but instead they are quite creepy. They loom over you. They're extremely tall, and very, very broad, with large, wide, grinning faces that appear to kind of like lean slightly forwards, rather than kind of being completely flat, slightly bowing at the back. Ahead of you, there appears to be kind of a large arched doorway covered with that kind of like shiny streamers as it were, as a tunnel leading into the Funhouse. And there's a big sign above it, like with 2 flashing arrows that just say "This way to the fun."
I look the clowns up and down. Do they have big feet?
Oh, they do indeed. Very big feet. It's the only thing that appears to be stopping them from falling over.
I say, look, big feet. You know what that means.
Large shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, let's just get this over with, and then we can all go to the party.
To the fun. And I stride up. Sorry, no.
And as you shout to the fun, blaring carnival music, which we will imagine kind of all erupts from megaphone speakers that you see are hastily attached and wired along the walls of this entrance hall. The sound is distorted and coarse and prickles in your ears with its aggressive insistence of fun. The fanfare builds to a crescendo before dying down as a voice emerges from the cheerful cacophony. Hello, kiddos. Welcome to my funhouse. That's right. It's the one, the only, the FBI's most wanted. It's Giggles the Clown. And you just hear a kind of, yay, like kind of fake little like fanfare kind of clapping in echoes. Now you all seem eager to take part in some fun, but we don't want anyone grumping out halfway through, do we? So I'm initiating a laugh lock-in. And you hear kind of this cacophony of a mad audience laugh track erupting from the speakers, causing you all to put your hands over your ears as the shrieks of manic joy are kind of uncomfortable and strained. And as you're drowned in this din, the mouth of the clown snaps shut, revealing metal-backed teeth. And the way out, you see, is now sealed tight as the voice returns. Now we don't have to worry about anyone getting loose in this goose. Let's continue the fun. Get through my Giggles Gauntlet alive, and I'll give you a prize. But be warned, you might die laughing. As the insane giggles and laughter dies away, you see the red lights begin to blink faster and faster over this way to the fun, illuminating the path ahead through the shiny streamers hung from the ceiling. And I would like Snivels to make a fear check for me, as your very, very specific fear that you told me the name of the track, which is the most classic circus music track ever, is your fear.
Yep. Entrance of the Gladiators. Yep.
That's it. Yep.
So that's three of the D6, because it's a strange roll, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yes.
Brilliant.
I think as extra punishment, can you give us a quick sound of what that sounds like, Snivels?
That music. So yeah, I didn't get any of the strange ones, but I did get 2 luck. I don't know if that counts on this one.
So you can, if you want to, you can smash this together to make a single success.
Yes, please.
Yes. You do, and you manage to keep your cool for now. But if it gets played louder and possibly a little bit more intensely, that check is probably going to get harder as you are starting to feel very, very unnerved. Excellent. So, yes, you've had your first address from Giggles the Clown. You are now trapped inside the funhouse. What are all your reactions? What would you like to do?
Okay, because I shouted to the fun and then everything seems to happen, I believe it was my fault. So I'm just kind of sorry. So I didn't realise. We'll be okay, won't we?
I go straight to Eddy and I grab him by the scruff, and that's quite difficult because he's quite a small guy. And he's like, "What did you do? What did you do?"
I just point to the sign saying to the fun.
I'll make him very close and just say, "Don't do that again."
Okay, no fun. Fun's over. Time for no fun. Yeah, it's okay. We've got D-bogs with us and wires and you. We're going to make a good team.
I'm eyeing the exit, thinking if I could maybe fit through the metal bars and maybe find some way to use the ball to wedge the mouth open or something. But I know that thought is fleeting and it disappears, and then I just go straight back to the side of D-bogs and just fold my arms and say, "Fine mess he's got us into."
I would head back and start poking at the back of the mouth, probably, just to see if there's any signs that there might be a way to get out the way we came in.
Yeah, so having a kind of look over with your kind of engineeringly kind of geared brain, you know, this is heavy duty kind of construction that's put together, and even with kind of like the tools and stuff that you have in your pocket, these are kind of like welded over. There's no things for you to unscrew. It is something that I think chills you slightly, because you can tell this has been specifically designed so no one could take it apart from the inside. As very much the intention is no one is getting out of here, and it's very much intentional.
Look, on a positive note, this is where we want to be, because we want to get the nose. So, I mean, this is good. It's caused us to act together, because we can't go that way, so we've all got to go the same direction, and that's where we need to go. So we've got to look at the positives, haven't we?
Yeah, sure. After you.
I start making a noise of a lightsaber.
I'm sure they just re-recorded the message. I'm sure that it was always like this. They always just shut people in for the fun of it. I'm sure this is exactly what it was always like, and we've got nothing to worry about.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's move on and see where we get to.
Come on, D-bogs, you got this.
It's my mic. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You keep telling yourself it's everything's perfectly normal. And D-bogs is going to poke one of the clowns with his baseball bat.
Roll a luck check for me.
Damn. I instinctively reach my physical dice there. That's not going to help me, is it? This is D-bogs is not a lucky person. So he only has a 2. Oh boy!
Oh, first failure of the game. Fantastic. So,
It's a double.
D-bogs has failed, and so when D-bogs fails at things, his flaw is that he's cocky. He's overly confident that he will succeed at anything, and the result of him actually failing at something is that when he fails and he rolls strange, he doesn't tick up 1 minute for every failure on our doom clock. It doubles. So that actually counts as 2 minutes on our doom clock. So for those at home who don't know about the doom clock system, I'll just very quickly explain. So when you fail a roll in Shiver and you roll a strange symbol, that counts as a minute on the doom clock. It's a 60-minute clock, and at 15-minute intervals, bad things happen, escalating from 1/4 to 1/2 to 1/4 to midnight. Then midnight, something truly apocalyptic, something very, very bad and very, very deadly for our players will come out to play in this case. So the more you roll, the more chances you have to succeed and move the story forwards. But you always run the risk of failing and accruing some doom and potentially triggering something bad happening. So I will be keeping a track of our doom in the background, and I will let our players know if doom has come a-knocking. Excellent. So in this case, what's happened is you nudge it with your baseball bat, and as I did say, they're looming and they're slightly unstable. It rocks backwards on its large feet, rocks forwards, the feet snap, and it falls towards you and lands on your foot and deals you 1 blunt damage as it crunches on your toes, and you elicit a little squeal of pain and fright, as well as the kind of clown animated itself a little bit.
Yeah. Oh no! These are my new shoes.
I'll be straight over to D-bogs. Like, D-bogs, are you all right? Are you okay? Are you hurt?
Clown tried to tackle me. I took him down.
Yeah, you did. You did great there, D-bogs. You really got him. You got him good. And I look back at Eddy, just with that. This is your fault.
While the drama is occurring, I will probably go over to the curtain doorway and start not moving through, but looking at it to see if there's any similar signs of contraption on that doorway as well.
Okay. Roll a smarts check for me to see if you can kind of find anything.
I've done so. Did that come through okay?
It did indeed, yes. And you've rolled one of our coveted double talents on your talent die, so that is 2 successes
Awesome.
on there. So yeah, so you begin kind of looking around, and again, like this corridor is very kind of like heavily put together. So that someone couldn't, crack out and crash through. You can feel metal kind of paneled into this, designed so it's not broken out of. The one thing you do notice with 2 successes, though, is you begin looking up with your kind of curious mind up to the speaker system that's been running throughout. And you can tell, kind of looking at this, that you suspect that it's this is designed more as a kind of PA system, which typically would be something that would be used live. It's not something that would usually kind of play out a recorded message. And all of the wires from your kind of knowledge of circuitry all seem to be kind of moving their way kind of deeper into the complex. So wherever this is being operated from is further in rather than external.
I'll probably keep those bits of information to myself and just be quietly worried.
Fantastic.
But turn to everybody else and looks like the only way to go is in.
Yeah,
Okay, let's.
I put my imaginary lightsaber away, and I sort of nod. We can do this.
Yeah, we can do this. We can do this. Let's just get through it, and then I'll go away, and I can have the liquor cabinet.
What do you think his nose looks like?
I'm gonna hazard a guess at red, maybe round.
Do you not see the signs everywhere, Eddie?
And this is the argument we hear as you begin to slowly part your way through these shiny streamers, pushing your way into this corridor as the kind of camera pulls back and you almost entirely disappear into this forest of kind of glittery kind of hangers. You move through this kind of corridor for a little bit of time until eventually you come across in this odd kind of metal corridor what appears to be like a very standard door. But this door has like some little things that are quite curious. On the main wooden panel in the center, there appears to be a joke scrawled on the door, which is, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" And underneath it, you see there isn't one handle to open this door, but there's 3. And with each one, there appears to be a different punchline. The first one says, "Because it was free range." The second one says, "To get to the other side." And 3 says, "Because Colonel Sanders chased him." And those are your 3 options. And you hear the speakers kind of rear up into life again. "Now, if you want to get into the Funhouse, I've got to know that, you've got a good grasp of basic joke structure. So, this is just a little try and see, and I can get a sense of, what level I'm dealing with here. So, come on. It's a classic. Don't let me down."
I'm going to say, hey, Giggles, if that's really you, I've got a question for you. How does a clown smell without a nose? Yeah. Anybody? No.
Oh, go on then. Tell me. I'm curious. How does a clown smell without a nose?
Terrible.
So there's a deafening silence for a moment, and then you just hear over the speakers Ooh, I like this one. Feel free if you feel your character would be scared by that laugh to roll a fear check.
Yeah. I'm happy
Oh
to.
god, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
right.
I like that.
I will fill it in with. I was just testing a. Sorry, I was just testing a. I was just making sure it wasn't pre-recorded. It's definitely not pre-recorded.
Well, I got 2 smarts and a luck, so
Oh boy. Okay, so you are now afraid.
Yep.
So yes. Oh, I've just realised if everyone's
Yeah, I've not rolled as yet.
Yeah, if we go by on your call or something.
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
Yes. So So Johnny, do you want to roll next then?
And
So
fear
whatever I've
is
got in
sorry.
strange, yeah?
It's strange, isn't it?
Strange. It's strange. Yeah.
Cool. Right, that's me.
Oh, so you've got a double luck if you'd like to smash that together.
Yes, I will smash that together for a success.
Fantastic. So you managed to keep your cool. And then we have let's have Eddy.
Okay.
If Eddy feels he'd be creeped out by this.
I'm definitely going to make a roll. Did you clear it as that rolled?
Oh yeah, that is completely right. Yep. And Eddy is definitely afraid.
Yep.
As well. And finally, D-bogs. And D-bogs has got a double luck as well, so he can smash it together if he like.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a success on that one.
Yeah, so D-bogs manages to keep his cool. Cool. So those 2 phases I'm gonna add to keep things spicy for the 2 afraid. I'm gonna add a minute each for those who are now afraid, because I like adding doom for various reasons. Keeps the game, keeps it nice and spicy. So yes, so you're now afraid. So what that means is that whenever you're rolling, you -1 skill die from all of your pools. But fear doesn't stop there. If you do a fear check again before finding a chance to calm yourself down or psych yourself up, or have somebody use an ability to kind of snap you out of your kind of fearful state, you can become terrified, which means you -2 core skill die from your pools. So you can kind of get in a bit of a fear spiral. And what we would always recommend in Shiver, like everybody does in the movies, when you're very, very scared, run away, hide, calm yourself down, and try and kind of get yourself back to a level playing field. And you can do that by rolling a fear check again, potentially in the future, or kind of providing kind of different role play ways of that, like kind of what roles may allow you to calm down for a different way. So in this case, for example, Eddy might be, needing to kind of like rummage in his bag for his favorite comic to give it a hug, to try and calm himself down as his comfort blanket, as an example. So we really encourage role play ways to break fear, as well as the fear checks themselves. Fantastic. So the laughing has died down, and you are now left with this joke scrawled on the door.
I mean, he's real. He answered me.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, the clown is real, but he's still a clown.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. Just
He said he
lonely.
liked me. Is that a good thing?
Well, depends how hungry he is, I suppose.
What?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry, I was distracted. I was thinking about jokes. This is to get to the other side, right? That's the question. That's the answer that we need.
That's normally the answer, yeah. To get to the other side.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a KFC guy.
I mean, creepy clown. My brain says, yeah, chased by somebody. That's not great, but
He did say basics though. He said basic understanding of. Does that mean classic, or do we need to think out the box? I told him a joke. I was hoping that would win us his nose, but no. I mean, I have no idea, but I would say cross the road to get to the other side. That's normally the answer, isn't it?
It was a nice try, Eddy. Go on then, Wires. You're the brains.
Oh boy.
I'll do it if you. I'll do it.
I'll go with no. I'm going to grab the get to the other side handle and see what happens.
Fantastic. Your
Fine,
hand
it's fine.
reaches out towards it and grasps it, and nothing happens. You click it down, and the door swings open. And he goes, "Phew! I'm very glad you didn't pick the other ones. That would have been for quite a shocking surprise, I'm afraid. But yes, well, you know, it's a classic, but it's not really my cup of tea per se. I always thought it because the chicken was suicidal. Anyway, let's move on."
Oh boy, this clown has just
Hey.
I think Snivels is who incidentally got his nickname because he cried in the middle of class once, which is why no one really wants to be friends with him. He just didn't like poetry and he didn't get it. He's going to start singing Country Roads to himself to try and calm himself down a little bit.
Okay, roll a hearts check for me to see how much of a heartwarming rendition of Country Roads you perform to yourself. How into the ballads do you get?
West Virginia.
Fantastic. Oh wait, hang on. Oh, it's not shown up for me.
I've got 2 heart and 3 2 heart, 2 strange, and a strange thing on the talent as well.
It hasn't rolled on the
Oh.
stream.
I saw the same roll though. 2 hearts.
Yeah.
Strange.
I'm not
Oh.
denying it. I'm just saying for some reason it hasn't rolled on the stream.
No worries. Okay, we'll get your heart. Your absolutely uplifting rendition breaks you out of your fear state. I'm just going to refresh the room for me and just make sure I'm connected. There we go. So yeah, I think if you watch the top left, sometimes it flashed up and connected. I'm just going to roll a quick tester.
Yeah,
Is that showing on
now?
Yeah, that's showing on the stream.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it as it's a little bit of a new thing. But yes, fantastic. So you're kind of all walking along, and obviously Snivels is firmly at the back in his usual place, and you just hear a slowly kind of getting louder. Just erupts kind of, and you break out his fear. But it's a rather odd moment potentially for the rest of you who are all quite tense and going to go, oh, like that. I just hear West Virginia being yelled behind you.
And now everyone's aware of my secret shame. I'm into country and western music.
And I'm definitely not, as I was named after a certain country western singer.
Oh, amazing. Right. So you open the door, and on the other side you kind of have another streamer-filled corridor that you kind of wade through until you find a other normal kind of door, kind of ready to be opened.
Okay. I think Wires is just doing it.
Wires grab the door handle.
Yeah, it's
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
the only way to go.
So you and you get 1 shock damage as you fling the door open, and you just hear Giggles. Oh, I could.
Okay.
So, as the door swings open, and you find yourselves face to face with a wall of balloons. Floor to ceiling, wall to wall, this room is completely filled with red balloons. And you hear the voice of Giggles crackling from the speakers once again. No one likes a party pooper, or in this case, a popper. Be delicate with my balloons, they're precious to me. If you pop them, they might pop you back. So, what we're going to do is, as you're going into this room, I'm going to basically get you all to roll a either of your choice, a wit check to move carefully and precisely through the balloons, or a luck check to make sure that just anything sharp, anything kind of a little bit of an edge on you isn't going to pop a balloon. If a balloon pops, I am going to roll privately for what is going to be in the balloon, because I have a list here that allocates to every side of one of the dice as to potentially what surprise could be inside. So just bear that in mind. So yes. So I'll tell you, we'll keep this tense. So let's I'm going to go in the order of kind of who I can see on my screen. So let's have D-bogs first, leading the charge with his baseball bat, wading into the balloons. So-
D-bogs is exceedingly unlucky, so leaving it to fate isn't really his thing. Do you consider a witful ballet as a form of athleticism?
Now, okay, so I'm going to go off what D-bogs has said in his kind of backstory here, of that. Has D-bogs actually done any ballet, or did he stand on the side, like just do it, like holding the bar, and just didn't do anything? Because if that's the case, it's not a feat of athleticism. General athleticism, I'll give you, but if he specifically didn't take part in the ballet, then he's getting nada.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, so I'll take the wit roll, which is just
I like your reasoning, but
goddamn, my roleplay backstory shoots me in the foot. Let's see how this goes. Okay, 1 success, 2
Okay.
luck, 1 hearts.
So 1 success, you begin to squeeze through, and you're kind of going across. But one of your buttons, as 1 success, I'm afraid, is not enough in this case. A sharp edge of your Letterman jacket scrapes one of the balloons, and you hear that as it kind of like puts pressure on the balloon, and suddenly it pops. And I'm going to see what happens. Ooh. So what's in there? So I rolled. Actually, I probably shouldn't tell you what I rolled. So it bursts in your face. You go, oh, and you're unsure of kind of exactly what's happened. And you see a little piece of paper flutter down, and it lands on your chest.
Oh. Can I read it? Is it a...
You can indeed. You turn it over and you realise it's the equivalent of a cracker joke. And you read on one side, what do you call a pig that does karate?
I don't know.
You flip it over and it says a pork chop. Anyway,
that's
moving on. Eddie, would you like to roll it? That's it. Eddie, would you like to roll? You got lucky. Eddie, would you like to roll a wit check, or a luck check to make your way through the balloons with your large backpack?
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my backpack off, and I'm gonna go commando style here. And I don't mean I'm taking my underpants off. What I mean is I'm going to put my backpack down and I'm going to roll it forward and I'm going to crawl underneath all of the balloons, assuming that the balloons are got helium and stuff, and kind of gently push them up. But in answer to you, look, I think because that is a choice and it's my best skill, so it makes sense to do that.
Fantastic.
So if that is okay with you.
I think that's very much the thing of that. It feels like you're doing something dexterous to you, going and commander crawling, but it's actually just extremely messy. You're a scrawny kid shoving a massive backpack for a bunch of balloons.
Yeah.
So luck is very appropriate, I feel.
Perfect. I don't want to be gaming the game, so
don't worry.
So that is that, and that is that. So let us do this.
Fantastic. So so that's 2 successes. Yes, you managed to kind of like bump and slide and move kind of the balloons like out of your way. Miraculously, they avoid any of the sharp little clips and pin badges and things that you have on your rucksack.
It's a miracle.
It's an absolute miracle. None of them pop any of the balloons as you make your way kind of halfway across the kind of room. Excellent. So that is going to bring us to wires. Wires. What would you like to roll in this case? Do you feel wit or luck is more summarize your approach?
I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna try for wit.
Fantastic. Okay, let me just clear the board. There we are. Ready to go.
The fact that I've got a randomly arcing zapper on my hand is probably not going to be helpful, but never mind.
Ooh. So yes, unfortunately, 1 is not enough. And as you mentioned it, and you've rolled a strange, that takes us to 5 minutes past doom as you fail. You're kind of
Excellent.
hands are up, trying to sidling through, as then you hear a whining buzz from your right hand, and it just goes just like that, and it bursts one of the balloons with a little electrical zap.
Okay.
Oh dear. Okay. So I rolled a strange,
Guess
and that's
I
a
don't get a joke then.
that's a very specific one. So the balloon bursts, and what you hear seems to be somebody screams trapped inside the balloon as the balloon screeches out across the kind of room and whizzes around. And I would like you specifically to make a fear check for me as you unleash these trapped screams.
Done. Is that showing up for everyone?
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Did I clear? I don't think I cleared the thing before, did
Would
I?
you like me to tell you what I saw, or would you like me to re-roll?
Yes. Could you tell me what you saw? Sorry. Yes.
It was one strange, one heart, one smarts.
Okay. With one strange, I'm afraid, as this is something truly terrifying. It's not enough, I'm afraid. So we're gonna tick that up to 6. And you are now afraid. As you kind of have this scream just fills your ears as the balloon deflates, and you'll make your way across to the middle of the room, shaking uncontrollably. Excellent. So that is going to now bring us to Snivels, bringing up the rear, sneaking through the room. So Snivels, wit or luck, how do you think he would approach this?
Well, of course, I've just seen 3 people do it 3 different ways. And I've heard pops after 2 people. So I'm going to go with the approach that was safe for one of them. So I'm going to use wit and go commando along the floor.
Fantastic. Okay, roll a wit check for me, please. Oh, so you've got one.
Dear.
You've got 1 success. Unfortunately, that's not enough, and you've got 2 grit. So you kind of go forward with full kind of commando gusto, and go a little too hard. As your arm slams down and catches just the edge of a balloon as you kind of put your full pressure down, and it pops. Oh boy. Yes. And as this one on pops, it pops down, and you feel something splash onto you as it begins to sizzle and burn. And you realize that looking down on the floor as it is beginning to kind of melt down, that one of these balloons appears to be filled with some kind of slightly caustic acid that has splashed onto your face as you begin kind of rolling around in pain. So you're going to take 1 corrosive damage. And if you're wearing armor, this would automatically destroy a point of that armor and make its way to start damaging it and potentially destroying it entirely. So yes.
Can I throw something into the narrative mix?
Absolutely, yes.
Only if you will allow it,
Mm-hmm.
director. But could one of my badges have come off my rucksack as I was pushing forward? And it was that he leant on to make him go, ow, and move to do this balloon. Just as an idea.
I like the idea that he's leant down on it, pierced his own arm, gone, ow, picked it up and gone, looked at it, and then a balloon just floated down and landed on the panel, flat in his face. So
yeah, and I'm currently holding a badge that says Mouseketeers. I'm like,
yeah, Mouseketeers, and the face of the mouse is slowly melting as some of the acid drips down it. Yeah. Excellent. So, you've all made your way to the kind of middle of the room now, and you are all kind of slowly moving your way through. I'm gonna say I'm gonna roll for this to kind of roll who I think it's gonna be. So I'm gonna assign. Okay, right. Who I think this is going to happen to. Okay. So wires. can you roll a wit check for me, please? This seems to be happening to you a lot, which is interesting.
Okay, rolling. Come on, failed. An unexpected error occurred. Please try again.
You've got 3 keys that have shown up on the stream.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's not showing up for me. Sorry, let me refresh again.
You will all have to re-watch the stream completely to see the fact that there was 3 keys there, but
I will also refresh because the unexpected error thing's not going away.
shout up in chat if you saw the 3 keys.
Ah, fantastic. So with 3
Okay.
keys then.
Okay.
So yes, you hear then with 3 keys a great success of that.
I
Because
don't
wait,
think I want a success.
do you only roll 3 for your wit as well? Because that's what
Yeah.
we would call in Shiver a full house. If this was a combat scenario, that has big consequences in terms of doing triple damage and various other things. But in
Oh,
this,
nice. Okay, so it equates to a critical hit or things like that in other systems and stuff.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so a full house is like no matter how small your pool is, if you roll all of that one symbol that you were aiming to get, because it's so mathematically rare, we're just it blows stuff out of the park. So in this case, you see amongst the kind of shifting balloons, what appears to be a clown's face, and a little bit of chuckling as the balloons begin to shift and swarm, and you manage to pull yourself back and all of your let's call them compatriots rather than friends, out of the way as you see a large shape and the squeaking of shoes rush by, and you see the edge of a long, sharp blade slice inches away from your stomach, as you manage to get away, as this large kind of figure disappears into the balloons, and kind of pushing kind of them aside. You can no longer see them. So it appears there is someone in the balloon room with you. So now, for this second stint, I'm going to give you a choice. You can either move slowly, and I'll make the CR of the check easier for you. But potentially, if things go wrong, the figure might come back. Or you can move quickly, and the check is going to be harder, and therefore more likely that the balloons, good or bad, may burst. So, with that, we'll cycle back up to D-bogs. D-bogs, with having kind of seen this figure kind of emerge, not really fully getting a full sight of them, but it looked like a clown and it looked like a knife. What do you think D-bogs would do? Do you think is he rushing? Is he dragging?
D-bogs throughout his sports career has dragged pretty much every day, but it's not that he can't push, so he's gonna sprint. He's gonna shout for the people that are with him to run. He doesn't dislike these people, mostly. Yeah, he's gonna run.
Okay.
This is athleticism. This is a track and sprint.
Okay, I'm gonna give you it for this because you are going full on sprint. So yeah, you can have it.
Is this going to be a wit one?
Yes. So it'll still be wit to kind of like run at speed, but dodge, dip, and dive.
I'm just
and duck through
inviting
the
a lot
balloons.
of room for failure here. That's why I like getting my extra athleticism die. Oi, there it is.
Ooh. So unfortunately, as you chose to sprint, you got 1, but you got 2 strange trees, taking up to 8 minutes on the Doom clock, so we're 7 minutes away from our first Doom event. You kind of are running and dipping and diving. You kind of look back because you think you hear a giggle out amongst the balloons. And as you turn back, your face comes straight into a balloon, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, let me check. Salt to my table. Okay, it bursts, and you take 2 pierce damage as a explosion of pins, little board pins that you would put in a conspiracy board, pepper your face.
Ow.
Oof. Yeah, he's not going to be looking so handsome no more. Yeah.
Excellent. So, but at this, you make your way over to the other side, and find yourself at a door leading out of the room. Eddy, I would like you to, are you rushing or are you taking it careful?
No, I mean, D-bogs has said run, and it seems a sensible thing to do. I just want to feeling totally gutted that something bad has happened to Snivels, and I mean, even worse, the fact that my badge has melted. I'm full of remorse. And you said I could do something with my luck to give it to somebody else with one of those cards. Is that right? Is this the circumstance I can do to help
Yes.
Snivels?
So you can give it to Snivels to re-roll a check if they fail.
Okay.
So if Snivels fails,
Mhm.
depending on what he does, in this scenario, then you can give him that
Yeah.
card. At that moment in the
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
as it were.
So I just want to preempt for the next, for when he makes his way through, that I'm attempting to do that. So at the moment, I suppose what it would work out cinematically is I'm trying to help him through at the same time,
Yeah.
sort of thing, really. But I'm gonna run, as D-bog says, and is it the same thing again? Luck or wits?
I think in this case you can still roll luck because I'm imagining you're now just running blindly.
Yeah.
Which for me is definitely in the realm of luck.
Okay, I'm terrified. Has the board been cleared?
I've just cleared the board now. Yeah, sorry, I have to keep remembering to jump back to it.
Okay, so let us see whether this works. Okay, I haven't got anything on my.
So you've got a wit symbol and a talent symbol. So yeah, so that is 2 successes. So that's just enough.
Okay.
As you're kind of weaving it and weaving like the badge is precariously nudging up against the balloons. I think Snivels looking at them in horror behind you as you manage to make your way through the balloons towards D-bogs.
Okay.
And you find yourself there as well.
Just
Excellent.
as a mechanical thing, it didn't roll any dice on my tray. Do I need to refresh that?
Yes. So if you're not seeing the tray,
Yeah.
then yeah, just refresh.
How
So I think it might be timed out.
How do I refresh it?
So are you in the browser?
Yeah, just literally the
Just,
refresh button.
just refresh the browser page. I think I'm finding that's fixing it.
Okay, let me just make a roll now. Yeah, that's rolled the dice.
There we go. Wonderful. Excellent. I shall clear the tray. Wonderful. So yes, so Eddy has made his way through successfully back in tow. Has joined D-bogs. Wires. Would you like to? Are you rushing, or are you going to take things careful?
I'm afraid, and I've just been swiped out with a sword. I'm running away.
Running away. Wonderful.
Very
Excellent.
much so.
Are you going for wit?
I think so. I'm still going to try and be strategic. I probably try and cover up the zapper thing just in case, in a way that won't shock myself.
Yes.
But
So-
yes.
So remember, if you're currently afraid, to minus your skill die.
Yes.
Oh right, sorry. I might have
Yeah.
rolled one extra one.
No worries. I'm just remembering now. Just to remind you all of just to minus
that's a
that
good
one.
shout. So that goes down to 2 funsies.
Oh, so you can bank that luck, but unfortunately, that is a failure. So we shall roll.
But I'm able to bank that luck if I want to anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
Great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Cool.
let me roll.
I have a
And
terrible joke, please.
I rolled a luck. So for you run to a balloon, it pops, and you kind of carry away, and you look, and it's just an empty balloon. There's nothing in this one.
Excellent.
You got lucky. Excellent. And that finally brings us to Snivels. At the back. What would you like to do, Snivels? Let me clear the board for you.
I'm going to run. So if that's wits, I'm going to use wits because I just want to get to the end as quickly as possible. He's probably tears streaming down his face now. He's just had a face full of acid. So yeah, he's gonna peg it.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, roll a wit check for me then, please. Oh, triple success! Excellent. So you've got a double talent and a wit symbol there. So yes, you are now that your life is fully in threat. You are dipping and diving and dodging like nobody's business, like your dodgeball, like honed skills of high school. have suddenly come into play as you weave your way through the balloons, listening out for the telltale squeaky shoes of a rather large clown, and you join the rest of your group at the door, which, in short, at this moment, D-bogs, I'm imagining you're going to slam open, and you all pile through and out of the balloon room.
And make sure the door is closed behind us as well.
Fantastic. Yes. It's just, yeah, you pile through the balloon room and slam the door behind you. One loose balloon bouncing kind of after you, and it suddenly pops and leaves a little note on the ground.
Nuts, I go and pick it up.
Okay. Okay. Would you like to read it?
Yes. I mean, I'd like to read it from the ground if I can do that without picking it up. But regardless, I want to read it. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it's two. So you can see. So you can see. You can see the top of it. So you can see what the joke is, but not the punch. You'd have to touch its turn over the punchline.
Then I will read.
Yeah. So it's just, what do you call an alligator detective?
Carefully turn it over.
An investigator.
Put it in my pocket because I quite like that one.
Yeah.
I go back into the balloon room.
Excellent. So the balloon room is behind you. You've all survived it. Well done. Excellent. And as you you find yourself again in another of these strange metal corridors that has been decorated with our shiny, silly string. And you begin kind of wading your way through until you find yourselves at another door. Is there anything you'd like to do before kind of heading in to the next part of Giggles' gauntlet?
I spotted previously like the cables and stuff and the speaker system. Does it all seem to be continuing on in this same direction?
Yes. I won't make you roll for that one. Yeah, it all seems to be it's still kind of following along this path.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that was all I would look out for.
Fantastic. Okay.
I'm going to get one of my action figures out. Probably Darth Vader. Don't like this one. He's been thrown out the window so many times, force pushed, and I'm going to tap him against the handle this time because I saw it kind of shock wires previously.
Okay. It doesn't have any shock reaction at all.
Okay. Chuck it back.
Cool. So you opening? Is Eddy opening the door then?
Yeah. I don't look for any of the traps.
Yeah. Okay. Eddy opens the door. Can you make a wit check for me, please?
Probably not. So I'm at -1 on these. I've just refreshed all of the dice trays, so hopefully it'll show on the scene. So wits should be 3. I'm afraid, so it's 2 dice.
So let me clear the board. So there we go.
Do you want me to re-roll those? I got a fist and a key.
Yes, if you could.
Oh yeah, happy to re-roll.
Just so we can get it on the.
Are you?
On the screen.
It was on the stream.
It was on. It was on. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I've got a strange and a intelligence smarts.
Okay. Well, but both would have been a fail, but we'll take the one with strange because it's more fun. We'll add it onto the doom. So you open it, and the last thing you see, just for a moment, is what looks like it is drawn on a paint can as a very crude form of a clown's head swinging its way towards you as it cracks you square in the chest. So you're going to take 2 blunt damage as it hits you in the ribs.
I just I start having some kind of seizure. I mean, solar plexus. I'm out of breath. I'm not particularly the fittest. I just start hyperventilating, really.
Yeah. I imagine what it does is it hits you in solar plexus. You fall backwards and you kind of land on your backpack. But because it's so big, you're kind of almost like crabbed over the top of it, kind of like wheezing both your feet and hands off of the floor, like a like a turtle that's been
Yeah.
turned over. Yeah.
I don't think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been invented yet, which is a
Yeah.
shame, but gives me an idea after my episode. I might start sketching turtles in a half shell. Curious idea.
So as eventually after Eddy manages to get back to his feet, the wind knocked out of him. You look ahead into the room, and you see a series of splitting corridors where every surface is lined with a mirror. Not just any normal mirrors, though. As you make your way inside, you see your forms are all being squashed, squeezed, and stretched as you walk through. The image of your image is all distorting in every way imaginable.
Oh no, this is we're going to meet our evil twins. Normally they kind of have goatees, so that's not going to work on us, is it? I don't know. If you see yourself but with a goatee, it's your evil twin.
Snivels goes to his face where the burger stash was, and now not because it's been acided off.
Yeah.
It's just another point to think of later when he's going to push Eddy into the pool.
Was Snivels his own evil twin this whole time? Is that who we've been doing?
Yeah. Sorry, this is the mirror universe.
Yeah.
I think Snivels is going to stay very close to D-bogs at the moment, not touching, but just kind of make sure he can see him and see the bat, and just kind of suggest to D-bogs, hey, so if we get a little lost in this place, we got the bat, and well, this place is already creepy enough, and there ain't no cops around, so smashy.
Yeah, D-bogs is going to turn to Snivels with pins sticking out of his bleeding face. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to smash a clown."
Yeah. Can with this little conversation, can you both roll a heart check for me, please?
Yeah, of course. I'll go first with that one. 1, and I'm going to bank a luck.
Fantastic. Okay. Snivels, could you roll one for me, please?
Yep.
Okay. Unfortunately, 1 is not enough, and that is going to tick us up for 2, so it's going to be 11, as I'll check again a little bit harder. At the both time of you like nodding to one another, being like, yeah, we're going to smash a clown, you both walk into one of the mirrors. And you realize, turning around and putting your hand against it, that you actually haven't been talking to one another. You've been talking to reflections of one another. And as you turn around and kind of look at the ground where the edges of the mirrors are, you realize that you are both entirely alone. And with that, we're going to just smash cut back to Eddy and Wires. So Eddy and Wires, if at any point do you think you would turn around to check on the other two who are behind you?
No, I mean, at the moment, I've decided the only way to get through this is to daredevil it, so I've got my eyes tightly shut.
I'm probably just sort of holding on to bits of the backpack to try and slow Ed down, but also avoid them smashing into the wall. And I'm kind of also looking around for more cables and clues to see if that gives a clue as to the route through and stuff. So just at the minute, I think carrying on regardless.
Wonderful. Okay, so Wires, your grip is kind of firmly on Eddy's backpack. As you're looking around at all the different mirrors, like trying to kind of see if there's a potential way out, could you roll a smarts check for me, please?
Sure. So far, no 4 because I am scared of clowns. 4 talent. Does afraid have any impact on your talent dice, or is it just the skill dice?
It leaves talent die alone. In this case, so yeah, so it's just your skill dice.
Okie dokie, right. So I think that's a success on the talent dice. Does that come through for everybody else?
Yep, it's on the stream anyway.
Yes, it is. So with 1 success, you notice, and why not? We're gonna add 1 point of doom on creepy happen because of what you've seen. You notice looking at all the reflections, and you see your and Eddy's reflections moving on. You see one of your reflections let go of Eddy's bag and go a different way.
No, I don't. That's not nice. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm not a fan.
And you see it kind of stops, looks at you, and goes like, "Come on, this way," and then goes off. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you
I'm
that
a
your
naturally
character.
curious person.
You are indeed.
I'm a naturally curious person, and if I think I've got a plan, even if it's a me in a mirror that isn't me that's got a plan, yeah, I follow my reflection.
Okay. Yes, you see it, and you feel your hand let go as you let go of Eddy, and Eddy, chatting away to himself, still walks on and carries on with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
Keeps walking forwards. And you split off into the mirror maze as well. So, Eddy, you're walking forwards, eyes closed, eyes closed, eyes closed. I'd like you to roll a luck check for me, please.
Okay. I am flipping between Daredevil and use the Force, Luke. Use the Force.
Yeah.
Daredevil. Use the Force. As I'm completely oblivious to what is going on. So I'm only at 4 dice now because I am scared, but we still get the talent dice. Let me roll this. Okay, has that come through?
It has indeed. Yes. So with 3 luck successes there, your hand gently press into a mirror directly ahead of you, so you stop yourself from walking head on into it. Do you open your eyes?
No, not if it feels like a mirror. That's how they get you. They come out of the mirror.
Excellent. Okay. So with your eyes closed,
unless I think that they can see me and I can't see them, in which case it's even worse to have your eyes closed, isn't it? I will let you, as the director, decide whether it is more narrative for me to open my eyes or not at this point.
I would say for now, you keep on going. You keep on kind of like feeling your way through. And I think we're going to cut back to Snivels, who's by himself. I imagine you're kind of feeling all around, kind of on the mirrors, kind of looking for a way out. I have a question for Snivels, and this is going to be very, very important. So think carefully about how you answer. What does Snivels fear his future self becoming?
Probably his father, who is a overweight middle manager that just drinks too much and smokes too much and doesn't really do anything except complain about Snivels.
Right. So, you kind of turn around and suddenly you see your image kind of distorting. But it's not like the kind of typical mirror where it's stuck in one position. All of a sudden, like, your stomach drops and distends outwards. Your hairline recedes. Some of the mustache comes back in, but it's still quite patchy. As your kind of shoulders slump forwards, and almost a necktie and grubby shirt sprouts from your skin, and a beer miraculously that kind of appears in your hand, and you see the image of your father, but not quite your father, an older version of you slipping into your father's skin in 20, 30 years' time. And just kind of looks at you and goes, "Hey, look at us. Why did you let us come this way? What's wrong with you? You were always a disappointment." That, and kind of jabbing at you and tapping on the other side of the mirror of his beer bottle. "Now, you think you're ever going to escape me? Escape me becoming like this? Yeah?" So I'd like you to roll a heart check for me to try and avoid this horrible taunting at this mirror form.
All right.
Is trying.
So I have an ability called Deus Ex Machina.
Yes.
So I can reroll any skill check and add a skill dice to my dice pool. So I would like to do that, please.
Okay, cool. I'll clear the boards. There we go.
Thank you.
Ready. Ooh, so that's
Well, heck.
1,
Too that
2.
low.
No. That's no.
Three.
It's a hearts check. Remember, so you've got
Oh,
a
it's a
heart.
heart. It's underneath
you-
something. I couldn't see the success I
yeah.
had.
Yeah, yes. So you've got 2, and then you've got free luck. So you could turn that into free luck. Free successes. Sorry, there.
Yes, I would like to do that,
Okay.
please.
With 3 successes, you feel a anger kind of swelling, kind of in your chest, of being like, no, that's a lie. That you won't become him. It's like, you've got your problems. Every teen does, but yeah, you're not gonna become that. What choice words do you have for the father version of yourself, possibly?
I'm never gonna become you. You became nothing. I'm gonna be a big deal one day. And I'm gonna show everyone. I'm gonna show you. And I'm gonna buy a big house next door to yours. And you'll never be allowed in my pool.
And you see, but you know I love to swim. And then there's a crack like appears across the mirror, and it shatters, and you see a slightly clearer way forwards for you, as the kind of haze begins to fade. So, with that, we are going to cut to. We're gonna cut to D-bogs. So D-bogs, you find yourself alone, and my question for D-bogs is, what does your character hate the most about themselves?
Oh, it's probably that he's too afraid to actually put himself out there, which is why, even though he's on all the sports teams, he doesn't actually do anything. He's not lazy. He's very physically talented, but he's actually quite not bashful, embarrassed, probably.
Excellent. So you are kind of spinning around, like kind of tapping on all the glass, and you hear some kind of chuckling, and you turn around to see a almost like a perfect reflection of you, but there's something slightly off about you, but in kind of almost a positive way. You stand taller, you look more confident. There's a slight sheen to your hair. There's basically like kind of where all the luster kind of you potentially has been kind of buffed off. This is almost like the idealized, perfect, grinning, somewhat smug version of yourself. Is this kind of like, D-bogs, buddy, what are you doing here? Aren't you getting involved? Where are your friends? I mean, come on, everyone's waiting. I mean, you're just going to be a loser standing on the sidelines for the entirety of your life? Come on. And you see almost in the back of the mirror world, another door opens, and you see it's Monica Spewitt. She's going, come on, D-bogs, you got to get back to the party. See, this is what your life could be if you just weren't such a coward. And I'd like you to roll a hearts check for me to resist this effect.
Oof, I'm gonna throw my luck from my bank luck into this, because I don't want to know what happens if I lose. It's a 50-50 split. 2 hearts, too strange.
Two hearts, too strange. Okay. Oh, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let that tick up. So we're on 14 on the doom clock now. As you kind of almost see like the surface of the mirror bowing as it shoves you down to the ground and just goes, pathetic. All that muscle and nowhere to put it. Come on, Monica. Let's go. I can't even be bothered to spend some time with this loser. So you find the illusion leaves you alone. If that's exactly what it is. But you take 1 blunt damage from being shoved to the ground. But ultimately, it leaves you be as it believes you're not worth its time.
Oof.
Yeah, I know, right? Grim. Okay, and so now we're going to cut over as D-bogs. We kind of leave you looking at now the empty mirrors. Is there anything D-bogs would like to do or say before we cut away?
think he's gonna smash the mirror with a baseball bat.
Yeah, excellent. So you kind of
Love
pick yourself
correct.
up, dust yourself off, grip the baseball bat tightly, and you just roar. You smash the now empty mirror as you just see the alternative D-bogs flashing a grin as he disappears through the mirror door with Monica Spewitt. And the mirror smashes, and a clearer path emerges for you to start following behind the mirror. Okay, so we are going to cut to wires.
Can I
Oh, wait.
just
Yes, of
say
course.
something?
Mhm.
Just because it's relevant. When I hear the smashing of the mirror,
Mm.
I will be opening up my eyes. But please go to wires, just so you're
Oh,
aware.
actually, no. See, for me, the rules of film logic have to abide here. If you
Yeah.
hear a smash and the audio cut goes, and your eyes snap open, we hear that smash, and the roar, and you hear the roar of angry D-bogs, and your eyes snap open, and you find yourself, your eyes opening and looking straight into a mirror of yourself, or potentially not yourself, because I would like to know not what you're most afraid of, but I would like to know who is Eddy most afraid of.
That's a very good question. Eddy, I think he's afraid of himself, which is strange, but he's very much afraid that he wants to be all of these things mixed into one, but there's part of him that realizes he's not, and he never wants to realize that.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm afraid of, I suppose, what I would come if I had to choose an individual who I was afraid of. I mean, we would have to move it up to wow.
So just to clarify,
Yeah.
so Eddy's afraid of himself in terms of like what he couldn't become or could become.
He's afraid of himself growing up. He's afraid of becoming an adult and having to put everything behind him. If you
Got it.
does
Exactly.
that explained it better?
Okay. Yes. No. I've got it now. Okay. So so Eddy, you kind of look into your own face, and almost a bit like when Julian Glover drinks from the wrong cup.
Mhm.
You but we're putting a different age cap on it. You begin to age rapidly, growing taller and taller. Your growth spurt finally hit the acne shearing away from your face. A little bit of kind of 5 o'clock stubble, kind of growing and falling away, and eventually your precious backpack frays and splits and falls away and crumbles into dust, and kind of sprouting out from under your clothes, a business suit kind of appears, along with a kind of large, taking a punt here, it was 1982, but a big briefcase phone
Mhm.
as well. You kind of pull that up and put it over. It's like, yeah, he's still here. Yeah, still clinging on to those little dolls, little picture book stories. And this kind of large, kind of besuited version of an older version of yourself kind of crouches down, kind of coming back down to your eye. I don't understand why you're scared of me. Look, you're gonna have to throw away those childish things at some point. You're gonna have to grow up. And I'm gonna tell you this. It's awesome. You're gonna have money, you're gonna have a car, you're gonna have a job, you're gonna be living the American dream, baby. What more could you want than that? Then snick, goddamn Wolverine. Man's out in the woods fighting the Hulk, for God's sake. Come on. How can you not want this life rather than that fantasy you're living in your damn comic books? I'd like you to roll a heart check for me, please.
Oh dear. Brutal. Okay. Oh, that wasn't me. I don't think that
Oh.
was me. I haven't done anything.
What's
So
happened there?
hearts, because I'm afraid is only 2 dice. Do you need to clear it?
Let me hit clear, and I'm going to refresh mine just to make sure it shows up for me. So I'm getting a bit worried it's not doing it. There we go. Yep. Okay. Ready.
Okay, it didn't roll anything then at all.
Uh,
Has it rolled anything?
yeah. So I'm seeing a. Or did it show up on the stream? Is
I
always
wasn't
important.
watching. Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, it's just a grit and a luck is what
Mhm.
I'm seeing. So you can bank that luck, but unfortunately,
I
that's
failed.
not enough to succeed. As these words ring in your head, and there's one little question, one little seed of doubt that burrows into your brain
Mhm.
of like, maybe I should have some useful stuff in this bag. Maybe I don't need to carry about as much stuff as I do. And that alone is enough to deal you 3 soul damage.
Oh, very nice.
As it very much strikes at the core of who Eddy is.
So, can you explain to me what that means?
So soul damage is a specific type of damage that pretty much ignores any kind of block. It's usually one that a lot of things don't have resistances to. As it kind of bypasses, it's either attacking like the mind or the spirit, or in this case, yes, the soul of what that thing is. So it's probably one of the, I would say, the most dangerous damage type in Shiver, because it's very, very hard to get around in any way.
Very nice.
Unless you don't have a soul, soul damage is always going to hurt a lot.
So I've taken 2 bludgeoning, 3 soul. That puts me on 2 limping now. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm in a bad state.
Yeah, and just to explain what that is, so we're playing in Shiver's survivor mode.
Right.
So those descriptors are just descriptors, just to give you a sense of kind of where your character's at. If you play in nightmare mode, which is we kind of have 2 different modes of difficulty. Those descriptors, when you lose a quarter of health, every character has 16 HP in Shiver, they actually incur negative effects. So limping slows you down. When you're weakened, you have to pick a skill area where you're going to take a debuff in, that kind of thing. So if you really like your survival horror, and your character's kind of getting weaker the more damage and kind of strain they're put under, then I'd really recommend nightmare mode for Shiver. But in this case, for a quick stream, we're doing a survivor mode at the moment. So that's what those mean.
So as a degree of narrative, and with so much damage taken to me, can I take my special comic out? And I'm desperately sort of looking at it, and I'm in 2 minds at the moment, whether I should just rip it up and throw it away, or try and cling on to what I want to be. But it's now out in the open, just so you're aware. It's not hidden away in my backpack.
So as you're kind of holding that out kind of flat in front of you, I'd like you to roll a wit check for me. As you hear, "Here, buddy, let me give you a hand." As you see the warping mirror out as a hand kind of outstretches, like the horrible fleshy wall in Nightmare on Elm Street, if anybody knows what I'm talking about there, as it kind of reaches out through the mirror to try grab and snatch at the comic.
I mean, this is the Hulk issue 180. So which did you say?
Yes.
I am only on 2 dice for that as well. That does not look like any wits to me.
No.
So you kind of feel yourself like tugging back and forth with this, but as you kind of feel a slight tear, rather than it be destroyed, you'd let it go. As it is snatched away into the kind of mirror world, as it begins kind of flicking through and being like, "My God, I cannot believe I enjoyed these things."
It's not till the final panel he shows himself.
Roll a hearts check for me.
I think. Have I got any? Oh, do I need to fail first to do the extra reroll, or?
No, I will remind you have your banked luck. Remember that you can spend as well.
Yeah, so I think I've got 3 banked luck. You said.
Yeah,
So I would be on 2 dice. Can I spend all 3? Because this is
absolutely.
my keystone. So 5 dice.
Amazing. Okay, so we've got 2 successes, and that being 2 luck as well. You kind of see the last panel. You mentioned the last panel,
Yeah.
and you can see he almost had his hand on the top to kind of tear the comic book in half, which is where this was going to go. But his hand kind of falters down and flicks over, and just goes, "Huh, yeah. Logan was really cool, wasn't he? Oh man, my life's miserable." And the mirror just shatters. And as it shatters and smashes through, revealing a path amongst the shards of glass, untouched and unharmed, is your comic book.
I crumple it up and shove it back in my backpack.
Wonderful, excellent. So yes, and you kind of begin to going kind of forward through there, trying listening out for the others. So last but not least, we're going to cut back to Wires. And Wires, what are you doing? Are you kind of feeling like looking for kind of like cracks in the mirrors, like trying to figure out your way through?
I'm wherever my other self went, just trying to follow that trail and try and find a logical, clear path, but also keeping an eye out for further clues from the other me that has a better plan than mine.
Excellent. So, you are kind of like weaving thing, and you're seeing like the back of the head of thing as you're barreling down these corridors, like kind of going after your kind of like mirror self, and you find yourself rounding a corner, and you kind of see yourself kind of mirrored almost perfectly, except it's not reflecting back the environment that you're in. Instead, the mirror is showing a high wire ahead of you, like a long beam leading out to a big door where you see there is a flashing exit sign on the other side. And it's your kind of mirror self just being like, "Hey, come on, come this way. Just walk over the beam. See, it's easy. It's just tiptoeing, dancing kind of on the beam. Easy as pie, and we can get out of here. We can leave the rest behind. We'll be fine. It's all going to be good. And you can get to Monica's party and take apart our hi-fi system. All you got to do is not be a coward." And he starts kind of tiptoeing backwards, like it's going like, "Come on, come through the mirror. Come along, walk along this beam with me." And you see as you kind of look through the mirror, it's above what you assume is probably the big top where you're heading towards the center of the funhouse.
I think I'm probably kind of giving a weird, slightly scared grin and nodding with vehement agreement, but not moving at all.
Yeah.
Just, feet locked to the floor, unable to and kind of having that whole kind of vertigo, my brain's going and looking down kind of thing, and I'm not getting any closer.
Yeah. So you're kind of stood in front of the mirror, and I'm going to say, if you want to step through and want to start moving through, if you'd like to roll a fear check to try and overcome the fear of heights, if you want to go through, you can. This is kind of more of a up to you kind of scenario.
The warring of two fears, because I'm afraid of it, but I'm also afraid of whatever the hell is here. And at least if part of me knows what he's doing, I'm going to try and conquer the fear then.
Okay, fantastic. Roll a strange check for me then, please.
Strange check. -1, so 2. Can I use one of my luck as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Back up to 3. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, fantastic! 2 strange. No, that's great. So
wanted
make
that one. Okay, yeah.
You're making a fear check. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let that tick us up to quarter past. So something bad is going to happen, but it's not going to happen to you. As you step out, you step through the mirror onto the beam and begin walking your way through towards this big kind of flashing exit door. And as you walk through the mirror, your mirror self disappears. And as you look behind you, the mirror has disappeared, and you are precariously positioned above the sand pit below, in the big top, where you can see deep underneath you it appears to be a bucket filled with red noses. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut away as our other three, you all are now assembling together at another door, but Wires is not with you.
Where's Wires? What?
Was he not with you? I mean, I thought he was with you.
Well, I mean, I had my eyes closed.
What, were you Batman or something?
Don't be silly. Daredevil.
Who?
Daredevil. Man without fear. That's what we need at the moment, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, that is what we need right now. Thank you. So, D-bogs.
Yeah.
Have you seen Wires?
I saw a bleak existential glimpse into a life where I actually tried.
Don't let that get you down, buddy. Come on, stay here, buddy.
I mean, that sounds,
buddy. We
deep.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna get through the door. We're gonna get the red nose. We're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna all be fine. And at the party, and this can be a great story to tell our grandkids, hopefully. So,
I was gonna say, as you give this speech, you're gonna hear us start to go, "That's the spirit, kiddos. This one's got heart. He may not be very funny, but he's definitely got some spunk." Right. Just to let you know, Wires is a little bit indisposed, so he won't be joining you for the next room, but it's the final challenge before you get to come see me in person and claim your prize. So step on through, because Wires may be dangling from a thread if you leave him alone for too long.
I mean, I think it's your turn to open the door, Snivels.
I take my hat off and I use the hat to open the door.
And you say, "Oh, you're no fun," as the door swings open and nothing happens.
I look for something up there, and I just give him a juice, a double juice.
Yeah. No, there's nothing up there. It's just like, if you play it out 3 times, it gets a bit trad. Let's move on, shall we?
I put my hat back on. Stupid clown.
I heard that. So, you make your way into this new kind of room, and it's very, very dark all the way around, apart from a spotlight in the middle. And you see in the center, it seems to be a somewhat of a showcase of items, a shrine, sort of, to Giggles. There's a giant shoe, a tricycle with bloodied wheels. We'll come back to that in a moment. A purple flower, and on a central plinth, a book labeled Giggles Joke Book. Now, if you're gonna get through this, I need to know we share a definite sense of humor. So far, I'm not sure if we do. Only one of you's proven to be slightly funny, and I haven't heard much laughter on this gauntlet, so this is what's gonna go down. A little game of call and response. I tell you a joke, and you tell me the punchline. I've got 3 jokes to try out, and I'm gonna give you 10 guesses. And, well, if you, don't get them all, well, you'll be the punchline. And the door slams behind you as wooden walls fall away at the sides of this room, and you hear a whirring beginning to kind of start up. And as you see kind of in the gloom, there is this weird metal threshing machinery beginning to turn faster and faster and faster, splattered with kind of neon-like colored paint. And as you're kind of staring at it, it goes junk like that, and it moves slightly in. This room starting to turn into a narrow corridor of death. Okay, let's get this started. So, first joke. Why was the clown laughing so hard?
There is something I need to address in this room.
Oh yeah, roll a fear check because you have seen the bloody tricycle.
There's just a little bell ringing in his head, just ting 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 ting. I got a 1. I got 1 strange.
Okay. So yeah, that's gonna just be enough. You should kind of shudder, but manage to shrug it off and try and focus on the jokes. Focus on the jokes.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Don't get freshed.
He's gonna take a deep breath and say, "Because he broke his funny bone."
God damn it! This one's a smart one. Okay, that's tally 1 for your team. And with that, we're going to cut back to wires. Currently precariously positioned, kind of on this beam above. I think you can kind of see wires. There is, as you look back to your left and your right, the tower behind you is there isn't a ladder down, but you can see on the far side there is. But the only way to get there is to walk across this high beam.
Am I in the middle of it now, or
So
am I already out on it, or have I not stepped out onto it yet?
So you're like on the start of it. So there's a little bit of a platform that you could step back onto, but there isn't a way down from there. So it's up to you if you would like to try and stay at the top of the tower, and not move, then you may. But to try and get down, the obvious route that you can see is there's this odd exit door at the other side, and there does appear to be a ladder leading down as well, into the main big top.
I am gonna try and fight down the panic and start moving to the other side because there appears to be a way out that way.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm going to say for this, this is going to be a wit check, as it's going to be balanced. And if you fail, then some fear checks might be accrued, as it will force you to look down and realize how high up you are.
I don't want to look down. It's not very nice. Don't like it. Okay. Right. 2 dice. Let's see how this goes. Excellent.
So you take some hesitant steps, kind of forwards, and you make it a little way out. But then, your foot kind of slips off the side, and you find yourself on one leg, kind of wobbling a little bit before your foot finds its purchase again. But in that, like, you caught a little glimpse of looking down. So I'd like you to roll a fear check for me, please. Oh, let me just clear the board. Yeah, sorry, I need to keep remembering.
Okay. All good.
Excellent. So yeah, so you've got kind of one strange symbol there. I'm going to say you managed to, and a smart symbol as well. So I think you're starting to think about this logically. You're just kind of like, it's as long as you keep your cool, just put one foot in front of the other. It's easy. It's just like walking along the edge of the curb, just with more deadly consequences. Don't think about the consequences, and you start to carry on moving. So with that, we're going to quickly cut back to the freshing room of killer jokes. Okay, right, we're moving on to the second one because that first one was a little too goddamn easy, it would seem. So, what should you do if you're attacked by a gang of circus clowns?
Sorry, can you repeat that again? I didn't quite get it all.
Okay. What should you do if you're attacked by a gang of circus clowns? I won't do it in the voice because I think that makes it a bit trickier.
D-bogs is slowly regaining his confidence, and he's gonna raise a baseball bat to the sky and shout, "Go for the jugular!" Juggler.
God, have you been in my joke book, you naughty boy? Damn, it's another one, right? It's a very good joke, though. And the walls move only an inch and just go, that's 2 for 2 in 2 guesses. Oh, I might have to make this a little bit more deadly. How rather than we have it in 10 guesses? I'll tell you what, I'll give you a choice and you can shout it out. Either I give you 5 total guesses and you only have 1 more joke to guess, or we have a bonus round where I add an extra joke for you to guess, but you get deep those 10 guesses, or 8, I should say.
Snivels, Eddy.
you've got this, D. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got this. You're showing a side I've never seen before.
Yeah,
You're
really
cool, man. I mean, I thought you were just a jock, and you did your sports and stuff. But no, you're cool.
yeah. You got this. I think we got this. You gotta. You can do it. You can do it.
We'll help, of course.
Oh yeah. We're here. We're
I
here to
mean,
help.
I knew the answers as well. You just managed to get in there before me.
Boggs will raise his baseball bat again and say, "Okay, give us your worst clown."
Okay, so you're going down to 5, and you just
Yeah.
want you just want the one joke that's left. Okay.
Is that 3 guesses left?
Yeah, so that will give you 3 guesses left.
Yeah, we'll go for that.
Okay. What was the hardest thing about the death of my mother?
Oh boy.
That chuckles for real, but also from giggles. Malicious glee.
I mean, this has gone dark, but it doesn't mean rigor mortis, does he?
That's a wrong guess.
I wasn't
And the wall's
talking
go-
to
and-
you.
and the
I
wall's going-
wasn't talking to you.
And moving an hour in. Only 2 more guesses. That's not how the game works, Eddie boy.
I mean-
Oh,
The joke book's right over there. We could just take a look.
Go for it, Snivels.
I'm gonna sort of make a run for the joke book.
Excellent. So you pick up the joke book and you open it up, and it's blank pages. And he goes, "Oh, now you didn't think I'd leave my jokes just out there in the open. Theft in the clown community is rather a big thing. I've had to keep them secret through some very special ways. But just for trying, I'm going to count that as one more guess." And the walls come in a little bit tighter. So, and it's like a very narrow corridor, and you just see the tricycle gets pulled in and just goes and just gets shredded. You'd be like, "So choose wisely. Either you get the guess correct, or maybe you can find a way to decipher that old joke book of mine."
What are the other items we've got in this room? There was a bloody tricycle, a
So that-
shoe,
a shoe, and there's also a purple as well.
a purple
purple
what?
what?
Sorry?
Is it like a little purple flower? So like what you'd put in a clown's pocket.
Okay. Is the purple flower attached to any sort of device to squirt water?
Yes, it is.
So Snivels is going to look at the joke book, look at the flower, pick up the flower, point it at the joke book, and squeeze the water on the joke book
Excellent.
or whatever's in there on the joke book.
Yeah. So you kind of pour it all over, and you see that, like, yes, as you kind of pour it on, like a faint text begins to kind of fade up. And you kind of begin kind of flicking through the book, and you hear Giggles going, "Tick tock, you figured out the secret, but can he find the right page in time?" And you're flicking through the walls are slowly kind of crawling in. And with that, we're going to cut back to wires up on the high wire. Can you roll another wit check for me to take your next step?
Two. Excellent.
So you get this time you stumble a bit harder and find yourself kind of like landing like on your chest and looking kind of firmly down. So this fear check is going to be a little bit harder as you make you're about 2/3 of the way across now, but you have kind of stumbled and fallen. So yeah, can you roll a fear check for me as well, please?
2 dice again. Hang on. Excellent.
Oh, so yeah, you are now afraid once more.
I was already afraid.
So now you are terrified. So you're gripping
Excellent.
the beam, shaking with pure panic. And you now -2 core skill die from your things, and you still have one more check to go to see if you make it across. So we're going to cut back as the rest of the group. You kind of you're flicking through, and you find it. kind of at the back, what was the hardest thing about the death of my mother? And you read it, just in a scrawled, maddening hand, is making it look like an accident.
Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna shout that out.
Okay, yes, you shout out. It goes, "Oh, rats! Just so you know, that was actually part of how I did it. But yes, anyway, congratulations, you've got all of the 3 jokes correct, and the threshing machines kind of retract. And you start walking towards the door. Oh, just kidding. Let's kind of double time. Get out quickly. And the machines start coming in towards you again, really, really fast. So I'd like you all to make a wit check just to see if you can dive through the door in time without getting caught by one of the machines.
I would
Oh,
be
boy.
trying to go as quickly as I can before anybody else, by hook or by crook. If there's anyone in my way, they're getting pushed out of the way.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to say, actually, because you are normally at the back, roll a grit check for me to see who you to try and push Eddy and D-bogs out of the way.
No.
No, so your hands kind of flail wildly at the back of D-bogs, and D-bogs, you think that he's trying to push you forwards as you slip down, Snivels. And you are now at the back, and you're going to be at minor disadvantage. So you're going to -1 on your roll for your wit check. So yeah, so D-bogs, you're at the front. So let's you make a wit check for me.
Wit check athleticism.
Yes,
no?
yeah, you're sprinting hard. Don't worry. Yeah.
I mean, I want to say I'll help him, but I don't notice.
Yeah. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Excellent.
That's a single success.
So you've got a single success. So with a single success, we're going to count that as one of Doom Clock. Just so you're aware, the Doom event that we've had that ticked off has come into effect, which is Giggles being mean and reactivating these machines because he's a cruel jokester. So yeah, with that, that's just enough to get out of the way without taking any kind of heavy damage. But you're going to take 1 sharp damage as something flails out from the machine and slices you across the arm. Okay, Eddy, if you'd like to, I'll clear the board for you, and if you'd like to roll your wit check for me, please.
Okay. Am I aware that Snivels has fallen over as he was trying to push us through, as far as I'm concerned?
I'd say you've. I'll leave that up to you. I won't make you roll for it. If you think you kind of have that awareness in this scary situation to help Snivels, then you can.
I mean, it sounds super scary. So whilst I would like to, I don't think I would.
Yeah.
So just 2d6 for me.
Oh, and yeah, you've just got enough. You kind of dive out of the way as well, but you are sharp damage as a little bit just nicks your arm as you're kind of having to squeeze in tight as it's kind of squeezing into a tight corridor.
So that's 1 sharp, did you say? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes, I'll just explain sharp. So if you take sharp damage, and I'll just get you and D-bogs to do this now before we do Snivels, just in case, because we don't know what might happen to Snivels if it gets pretty, it might get grisly. We'll see. But yes, so for sharp damage, you roll a luck check to see if you start bleeding. Right. So yes, so D-bogs, can you roll a quick smart luck check for me, please?
Sure thing. Now, I know exactly where I'm bleeding and why.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I think you're very aware, and your hand comes down on it massively to try and stem it, but you take an extra point of bleeding damage. So now if you're in a kind of combat scenario or just periodically, you'll take 1 bleed damage. Normally in combat, it'd be at the start of your turn. Every turn, you'll take periodic damage. And I'll just clear the board, and then Eddy, if I can get you to roll yours quickly as well.
Yeah. So this is luck.
Luck, yes.
-1 dice, but I've got a thing there.
Amazing. Yes, you've got 3 successes. And because you've got 2 grit, it gives you a very aesthetic like cut across the cheek like an action hero.
Awesome.
But apart from that, you're absolutely fine.
Just like G.I. Joe.
I can imagine you murmuring that, hugging your backpack, just running through as you dive out the other side. And that takes us to Snivels. So Snivels, with your minor disadvantage for taking one of these away, can you roll your wit check for, please?
Yes.
Yes, so you've got one. Excellent. So so you're kind of running. Like you dive out just as and it just skims your thigh as you kind of roll down in the sand on the other side of the door as the kind of threshing machines smash together and the door slams shut. And you find yourselves in a large sandpit arena of the big top. And we're just going to cut up to Wires now. Wires getting up. You will now notice as you're making your way for your third and final attempt to get over your friends or compatriots, we should say, down there in the sand below. Is there anything you would like to do before you begin trying to get to continuing on the way to the other side?
I mean, I would look down, and there would be a bit in my brain which would be like, "Oh, hi, guy! No, don't look down! Don't look down! Don't look down! Don't look down!"
Excellent.
But no, beyond that, it would just be kind of try and get across.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's
Excellent.
high wires.
Do a flip.
Yeah.
Flip to death. Right, so terrified is -2 now, isn't it?
It is indeed. I will say to the rest of your group, is there anything, all of you noticing Wires up on the high wire or beam in this case, you would like to say or exclaim or potentially encourage him, or potentially do something worse as you notice him?
Yeah. Oh, go
Yeah,
on.
go on. You know, please, you first.
D-bogs is going to wave his bat around and cheer. Go Wires! That's badass.
Okay, roll a heart check for me, D-bogs, to see from not joining the cheerleaders. You've been adjacent, like you might have picked up some tricks standing on the side near cheerleaders.
No.
Unfortunately, it's deeply if anything, it makes you feel slightly worse. Worse. It's just
Right. That's great.
I would like, because this feels in my wheelhouse. This is lying, and I'm good at lying.
Excellent.
So I'm going to be standing beneath and go, thinking that he is going to just fall to his death any minute, but at least to give him happiness. It's like, hey, Wires, you've got this, man. You can do this. You can get to the other side. Just you've got everything in you. The power is within you.
Okay. Roll a hearts check for me to lie.
Yes,
with your additional bonuses that I'm sure you have.
Yes, yes, I have. Worm tongue, 1+1 talent die when attempting to lie.
Fantastic.
So
oh boy, howdy. Okay. So
It's a lot of strange.
that is
there.
what that's one heart, but that is 3 strange. I think I'm gonna have to count it towards strange because I think you're kind of listening wise if you're like, wait, what's he saying? Like that's completely illogical. Like the problem is you're still in the smarts brain, you're kind of logicking your way through this, and you know you haven't got this. This is terrible, and if anything, it just kind of keeps you kind of set on your terrified. So unfortunately, your compatriots have not managed to pull you out of your terrified state.
All I would like to do is I would just like to shout out, if you want to help me, don't help me.
Yeah, fantastic. And with that, would you like to roll your wit check for me to see if you make it across?
But okay. My 1.
Okay.
Can
So
I-
you take
Can I use my Fortune Favours the Bold card? Because I don't think I used that. I just used my normal luck for getting that. Is that right? Because I got
yes, yeah. So fortune favors the bold, so you can allow Wires to re-roll.
Yeah,
and because you're using that card, Wires, I will let you roll as if you would normally roll without being terrified or afraid. Because Eddy is burning pure kismet in his pocket to make sure that you don't die.
Excellent.
Okay, let me
Thank you very much. All right, okay. Am I good to roll?
Yes, you are.
Cool. Right.
cross that off as well.
Amazing. So, you manage to kind of get to the other side, like kind of teetering and tottering, kind of on there. However, you have rolled 2 strange, and we are on 22, and I would be remiss to not pay some attention to it. Of that, you get over the side, like and you start slowly and shakily working your way down the ladder. But as you're kind of halfway down the ladder, you feel it rattle as the bolts shake and detach, and you feel yourself just falling slowly backwards, uncontrollably, and you slam
Oh.
down into the sand. So you take 3 blunt damage, which is a hell of a lot less than if you would fall from the high beam.
Yes.
So you have the wind knocked out of you. The ladder kind of shatters, kind of on top of you, and you find yourself kind of flattened, quite near the rest of your kind of band of teens.
Wasn't fun. Let's not do that again.
Hey, but you're all right though. You're fine. I will go over and try and help him up, and I will make sure I grab the hand that doesn't have the buzzer on it.
Excellent. Okay. Yep. You help him up and you don't get electrocuted. You know me too well already. Excellent. So yes, you stand back up and you're kind of dusting yourself off, kind of trying to clear the sand away. And yes, you now the rest of you notice kind of looking up at these creaking kind of rotten poles. All of the seats that would have normally been filled, kind of carnival goers, are empty. Popcorn boxes discarded and rotting in the stands. And you see that moonlight is pooling through a rip in the top of the tent, where the kind of top of the tower of one of the one that you've just fallen off of has pierced. You can now see that the weird exit door that was there was just a freestanding door, as you can kind of see around to the other side, and was again another horrible joke that would have just had you walk through and fall off kind of into nothing. But your eyes kind of lower and focus upon your prize in the middle of the ring, a rusted bucket filled with red noses.
I mean, are they all his nose? or is it just one? I mean,
Monica's not going to know which one anyway, is she? I mean, let's face it, she's not got much up there.
I go and grab him again. We could have gone to the goddamn dollar store and bought a red nose.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we were putting a lot of facets to Monica's personality that I have never seen any evidence of. So
but
yeah,
look, we've bonded.
that was an option.
We've bonded. We're together. You know. How about we all put our hands in the middle? Go team.
I put an acid scarred hand in the middle.
I would love to, but I am losing a glorious amount of blood.
Oh yeah, you take another point of bleed damage. there you go. Yeah.
Can I try and first aid him with my comics?
Yes. Roll a smarts check for me to see if you can kind of
I'm just going to
jerry
start
rig something.
putting comics around him and taping them up with my art supplies. Am I okay to roll?
Let me. Yes, you are.
Okay. Did you say? Oh, it's going to be 2 dice anyway because I am scared.
Oh yeah. With one, you kind of wrap it around, and you see, you wrap it around, and a kind of the yellow suit variant of Daredevil slaps on top of the wound, and it bleeds through, turning his suit red.
Oh wow! Beautiful.
And yes, you managed to stem the flow, but so your D-bogs, you are now no longer bleeding. Excellent.
Thanks,
So
Eddy.
yeah. So, what would you like to do next? A bucket of red noses awaits.
I'll do it if no one else wants to.
Yeah, you go get them, and we'll find a way out.
Well, she only wants one, doesn't she?
Well, yeah, you get one. Get one each.
One each. Okay. I'll move across to the bucket, and I'm assuming it's quite a big bucket.
Yeah, it's pretty wide. There's quite a few in there, so you can just kind of reach in and grab one. So you
Yeah.
reaching in and picking one up?
I mean, I hate the idea of leaning over this bucket and reaching in to get these, but it's what I would do, so I do that. I try to gather 4. No, I mean, do they look more or less all the same?
Yeah, no, they look a bit grubby, a little bit odd, and you kind of pick up 1, 2, 3, and then you kind of pick up the 4th, and as you twist it around, you see inside the red nose is a nose. So there is a severed human nose inside each of these red noses.
Okay.
Did I just hear somebody go?
That was my dog, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is pretty. I guess I told him my joke a little too early, and I kind of just show you. I don't know whether these are his or other people's. I mean, does it look like the nose, the clown's nose, kind of cuts the nose off if you were to put it on, or does it look like the nose has been cut off afterwards?
It looks like the nose has been cut off by somebody. You examine a nose, kind of anything in it that would kind of cut somebody's nose off. And as you've kind of turned around and are showing the red noses, and you're looking at horror and disgust at the kind of 7 noses within the red noses. A jack-in-the-box bursts up out of the red noses and looking backwards and forwards, going as the circus music kicks up again as you hear the revving of an engine, and out of a dark tunnel, like that kind of horrible ill puttering that old vehicles make, of a tiny rusty clown car putters out of the darkness and rolls into the center of the arena on the other side. This thing is about the size of, those like red plastic sided cars with like the yellow roof over that like every kid have. It's about that big. So too small to potentially have a person in, like, at all. And it slowly kind of like pulls up and then stops without and then the music stops. And one of the doors freaks open. And unfolding from the impossibly small cabin is a giant clown. They're about 6'6", built like a linebacker, with puffy eyes smeared with purple makeup and white grease paint covering the rest of his face, giving him a slimy overall texture. The blue frizzy hair appears to be his own, and strangely natural, although it's fraying at the edges like an old and unloved doll, and his costume is similarly grubby, mottled with dirt and bloodstains across its once colourable surface, rendering it now drab and disgusting. And out of his clown car, he drags a comically sized mallet, tipped with broken glass. Oh, well, I see you've got our red noses. You've kind of jumped the gun and grabbed the surprise, I suppose, and earned all of your prizes. So I guess our fun comes to an end. But I must say, you've been rather entertaining. You've been way more entertaining than the ones that have come before, and the ones before that, and the ones before that. And actually, that group was quite fun. But yes, but the ones before that were also pretty dull. So I've got an offer for you. One of you stays behind with me so I can tell them jokes for the rest of time. Because, to be honest, being in this old carnival alone in this tiny, tiny car isn't really much fun. And what's a joke without someone's laughter after all? And he kind of gives you a grin, and you see his teeth are very much like the front of the carnival itself, snaggle-toothed and pointing in odd directions. They almost don't look quite right. Like they don't fit in his mouth properly, as he smiled. And that's where you potentially suspect that the slight lisp that he has actually comes from the fact that his teeth don't fit in his jaw. So, what do you say? One of you stays with me forever? I let you go free. I mean, you can try and make a run for it, but I mean, it's just making more fun for me.
Eddy, I think you should do it.
I mean,
He is the funniest.
He is. You laugh at his jokes. You like his jokes. You can. You.
I mean, no one said this before, but the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, I guess.
Boggs is gonna push Eddy aside a bit and be like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it. The kid couldn't lift a mallet anyway."
Wait, seriously, you'll stay?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk towards Giggles. Yeah, the last joke in the whole room with the saws and everything. It really that one actually did get me. That one was good. I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't hear a chuckle from you.
That was the impending death.
But that's part of the punchline. I feel like you're gonna need to learn a lot for this relationship to work.
But you're so funny. You're a great teacher. You're a great teacher.
Exactly. Although there is something I could teach you about punchlines, and I want to try and I want to hit him with my baseball bat using my stun ability.
Excellent. Okay, go for it.
Snivels' face is just going to the start of a no. He thought we were out of this.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh no! As physically bad as it could be.
Okay, so that puts us on 25 minutes past 2. As you kind of and you swing the bat round, and you see a huge meaty hand, kind of in the classic clown gloves, just grabs the bat and stops it dead. Goes, now I've got to appreciate your setup, but I really don't like the punchline there. And I'm just gonna roll a quick little attack for giggles for free. Okay. And he goes boop and squeezes his flower that's on his chest and sprays acid onto you as you find your chest burning as the Letterman symbol of the school that you've lovingly stitched on burning away as you take 2 corrosive damage.
Oh no. This is traumatic.
So I'm getting a feeling that the deal is completely off here. So I tell you what I'm gonna do. Eddy, if you can tell me a joke that makes me laugh, I'm gonna give you a 10-second head start. How about that? I like fun and games.
We've got to stick together. Everybody at him. And I'll just charge towards him.
Well, that's not very funny at all. And he's gonna rear back his mallet to kind of hit you. So
Yeah.
Eddy, as you've charged him, I'm going to let you go first. And I think to make this easy, so the way that combat orders work in Shiver is they are categorized as first, middle, and last.
Okay.
So really, really easy. So as you're all, is everyone else like bum rushing him with Eddy, or is somebody doing something different?
I'm not bum rushing him.
Yeah,
I have a
Snivels-
slight
yeah.
technical
Yep.
question.
Yes.
So when Eddy used his fortune favors the bold card,
Yes.
I was able to roll that time with the no disadvantages. Am I still technically terrified though?
You are still technically terrified.
Cool,
So yes,
yeah.
if you want to run away and try and calm yourself down, because otherwise
I think
combat
I
might
would
get a
be.
bit dicey.
I'd be hanging back, basically, probably
Yeah.
closer to the horrid ladder that I've just tried to climb down. And if there's anything I can do to calm myself down in the moment, but I feel like if stuff is kicking off, then I'd sort of have to dive in, but last, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say so the actual pillars that you came down on are quite large. So if you wanted to dive out of the way and hide behind it, break your line of sight on Giggles, and kind of just almost cover your ears, kind of almost drown it all out and try and calm yourself down, then you could do that. So if you do that, I'll give you major advantage. So you get to roll a talent die for rolling a fear check to try and break it. Yeah.
Yes, that would be great. And
so
we can do that at whatever point that makes
Fantastic.
sense.
So what I'll do is I'll put you last then. In that case, as you're kind of dashing away. So Eddy's going first. D-bogs, are you rushing with Eddy?
Yeah, recovering from the acid blow. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So you're going to go first, and then Snivels. What's your intention? What do you think you're going to do?
Well, my intention is to, seeing that everyone else is bum rushing him, I'm not going to bum rush him, but I have got the baseball, and I'm going to lob that at the clown, and then probably try and run and hide somewhere. So I know I've got tactical redeployment. But I don't think I want to go first. I think the people I think should go first are currently going first.
Okay, excellent. Right, yes. So I'll put you last then with Johnny then. Excellent. Okay, so Eddy, D-bogs, you kind of see Giggles twirling this large glass-tipped comedy mallet in his hand, kind of maliciously. Which of you would like to go first in kind of launching an attack?
I would like to try and sort of charge him at the last moment, dip down and try and get behind him and do that old school boy thing of sort of kneeling behind him so that D-bogs can push him over me.
Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna give you a choice here. You can either do it as wit or as heart, whichever one is strongest for you, and this will be an interact. So in combat, there are 3 things you can do each turn. You can move, which you'll be doing to kind of like get past him, as it were. You can interact, so it's anything that doesn't do damage. That can be pulling a lever, opening a door, like kind of like throwing an item to somebody, and attack. So that's anything that deals damage, and that applies to how all the abilities work. If the ability deals damage, it's attack. If it doesn't, then it's an interact. So in this case, it's an interact because you're not trying to hurt him, you're trying to get yourself positioned, but doing it in kind of clever way. So it's either like duking him and like performing with hearts to fool him, or wit, I'm going to say, to dive through his legs and then crouch up in a ball to thing. So whichever is strongest for you.
Neither, they're both the same, just 2 dice, but I'm going to choose wits rather than trying to trick him. It's more of a case of me try and get between his legs and doing this. So let us get to the dice box. See what happens there. Well, I mean, I should have tried to hit him instead.
What I'm going to say is with that, because ultimately it's a full house, but of a different variety.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you kind of run and you kind of try to dive for his legs, but you end up just colliding with his shins. And I'm just going to do a quick roll.
Big feet.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll a check for Giggle, see how if he potentially falls over. And he rolled a load of strange. So it's not exactly what you intended to do. But the dice and Shiver always like to tell us a story. So you barrel forward, trying to dive through his legs. But what I'm going to say is that you get partially through his legs, but your backpack hits him in the nuts, and almost dead stops you, and it pulls him over, and he kind of falls down, kind of pinning himself up, kind of with his mallet, just being like, "Whoa, there, fella! Whoa, what's going on here? Oh!" And yes, so that's going to be your interact. Would you like to launch an attack of any kind whilst you're here?
If I saw the black pack slamming into his groin, I'm going to sort of do not a physical attack, but I'm going to tell him a joke. I guess that's a different kind of tickles then, I shall say.
Yes. Okay. Roll a heart check for me, see if you fit, and then as your joke attack, if you distract him with some humour.
See whether he thinks that is funny or not. No, full house of intellect though.
Wait, hold on a second. I think I might just need to dissect that joke a little bit. And he's just kind of like, as he's kind of like floor. Okay, so it's going to be Eddy's turn. So D-bogs, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna try and hit the clown, stun him again. That's the aim. We'll hope for something more.
So currently he's prone. So you get minor advantage. So grab an extra D6. in
Did
there.
not help me last time, but we'll see.
It's either that or you'll trigger a Doom event. So let's see what
Yeah.
happens. Ooh,
4.
that is 4 successes. So for giggles, that is a critical hit. So critical hit is if you roll 2 symbols beyond his challenge rating. So in this case, 4 is enough to kind of ring his bell pretty hard, to be honest. So you deal him. You're going to do double. So you're going to do 4 damage. Because he's already prone, I'm going to add in an extra 2 damage because basically you just pile drive him into the ground because he's already fell over. Because that would be the critical hit effect for a grit attack. Is knocking somebody over. If you're successful. Each basically for every weapon, every critical hit effect is something slightly different. That's themed to the skill. So for grit, it's knocking people back and over. In this case, it just turns it into a supercharged heavy hit as he's kind of hitting the clown whilst he's down. You kind of pummel it, and he is now stunned. So Adam, it's your ability. Do you want to explain for us what stunned does? It's one of our status effects.
Yeah. So stunned. I don't have my director's sheet out with me for the first time in forever.
No worries. I'll quickly explain. So stunned basically means that Giggles is now going to lose. So I've just rolled for him and he's failed. He is going to lose his combat turn. So that basically means that now Snivels is going to act. Wise is going to be able to act. Then it means that D-bogs, Eddy, Wise, and Snivels, you all get to act again. As you have, he's got little Tweety birds going around his head currently.
Nice.
But you all see this of like the baseball bat just crack across Giggles' temple. He goes, oh boy, that's quite the swing you've got there, champ. And he seems thoroughly kind of not with it. So yeah, excellent. So D-bogs, you've got your interact left. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Is that clown car nearby?
It is indeed.
The keys in the engine.
There are indeed.
D-bogs is going to get into the clown car.
Okay, you get in the clown car, you turn the keys, it turns on. It's surprisingly roomy inside.
I was going to. It's one thing I know. It'll fit us all.
Yeah. So as you get in and you honk the horn, it's kind of going. So yeah. So I'm gonna say that is now D-bogs' turn. So yes. So that's gonna I've had Giggles, but he's missing his turn because he's now stunned. So Wires and Snivels, what would you like to do?
So Snivels is going to throw the baseball at the down clown.
Excellent. Roll a wit check for me.
I think I need to do luck. Is luck first if Eddy is in combat with him still, because I have people are pawns as my flaw.
Oh god, yeah, he is. He's in close combat with him. Yep, you do. Yeah, do you want to explain your flaw?
So you're a lovely person to be, Kristian.
I just thought I'll play myself. It's easy enough. So people are pawns. This flaw means you'll always strike even if it risks others' lives. After all, this action has the highest probability of success. If targeting an enemy in a brawl with an ally, roll a CR1 luck check. If you fail, you hit your ally instead of your intended target. Both's a win for me.
Excellent. So, yes. So you'd like to roll your luck check first. Okay, so that is definitely a fail, and it ticks up for 1 minute on the Doom clock. Now I would like you to roll your attack, and now we know it is going to hit Eddy.
And it's player Kristian is sorry.
Don't be. It's funny.
But Snivels is not sorry.
Or unfortunately, that is 2 successes on your talent die. So just as you're kind of like trying to call yourself away from Giggles, Snivels draws back his arm and lobs the baseball as hard as he can, and it cracks you across the back of the skull, Eddy, for 2 blunt damage.
Right. I mean, I'm not looking particularly good. I don't know whether you've been keeping toll of my wounds, but as far as I'm aware, that's now 4 blunt damage, 3 soul damage, and 1 sharp damage.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what kind of condition am I in? Just as a bit of a narrative.
So I'd say like now you're kind of like the cuts and the bruises are kind of starting to show. With that, I imagine it's probably like kind of split, like just above your eye, and you're kind of bleeding a little bit, kind of down your face. Overall, feeling a bit woozy, like very very sore and kind of very very damaged. It's kind of and any kind of other kind of big hits are probably gonna knock you unconscious or potentially kind of end you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I sort of look up to where the ball came from. Oh, the ball! Thanks, Snivels. Thanks for the ball.
Catch. Yeah. And then I'm going to run for the clown car,
Yep.
and I'm going to say, "Go, go, go!"
Okay. So you get into the clown car. Excellent. So that's your move and your interact, and you're now in the wires. You've hidden behind the pole.
Yep.
And you want to try and break. Do you still want to try and break your fear?
Uh,
Obviously, a lot has happened.
I think. No, I think I feel like I would probably be aware of strikes being made and action being taken, so I'd probably just charge in just last.
Yeah.
And try and use my questionably legal zap device to zap the horrible clown person.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. So you see kind of Eddy kind of struggling to crawl away, get hit with a baseball, and kind of with a roar, you charge in, hand outstretched, and it kind of buzzing away to go and hit him across the face. Excellent. Roll a smarts check for me, please.
I say, I am Iron Man.
I'm getting that baseball back.
So smart. So that's. Oh, but I've got 5, so that's 3 plus a talent dice. That's fun. Plus 1 of them. Come on.
Oh, that is just shy of a critical success, but it's still a success anyway. So you shock him hard as it kind of runs through his body. Go, this is not a fun time. As he takes kind of a bunch of damage, 3 shock damage, and it just courses through his body as he kind of jolts around. One thing I'm going to just to kind of introduce the mechanic, I'm going to roll for a reaction for Giggles. So when you hit enemies, typically, I roll a single d6, one of our times, and we see if he reacts. So we're going to see if he potentially does something, as Giggles does have his own unique react table. That's what he's going to do. Punchline. Okay, so he's going to, like, as his arms kind of, he's going to uppercut upwards, kind of being shot. So he's going to kind of hit you with 2. You're going to take 2 blunt damage, and that is going to throw you back away from him. And what I'm going to say is you kind of land and slam into the side of the clown car as D-bogs at the driver's seat and Snivels in there as well. You just feel the car rock from the outside, but whereas you are now by the clown car, as he's still kind of shaking, and he just goes, punchline.
Nice. I'm gonna prepare to get in, but also sort of stand like kind of almost one hand on the car, one hand reaching to see if I can help Ed get to us.
Oh, okay. No, I like that. So yeah, so you're kind of reaching out. I'm going to say, Eddy, if you want to make your because now we're kind of cycling back around. I'm going to say with all of you in the car, it's unless the situation the car is like you are going to drive away. So I'm going to take us to D-bogs. What's D-bogs thinking? As your kind of first, you and Eddy were first in the order, but I'm going to say I think we're shifting around as you're in the car now, and Eddy is prone and quite woozy, so he's probably near the end.
I don't want to drive until Eddie's in the car.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so you're not going anywhere. So you're saying that I imagine Snivels is at the side, just go drive. Go. Yeah. And yeah, so you open the back door. You've got kind of 1 foot in. You're like, oh, surprisingly spacious. You're thinking wise, and you're handing your hand out. So Eddie, I would like you to make a grit check for me to kind of reach out and grab kind of wires, and for you both to kind of pull him in. And wires, can you make a grit check as well afterwards?
Yes,
so we
of
can
course.
kind of yank everybody inside
Okay.
and get everyone in, so the board's clear.
This is
So
not good for me. My grit is reduced by 1 because of character gen, and it's reduced by 1 because of my fear. I am on 1 dice. It doesn't help being concussed by a baseball bat either. Are you ready for me to roll?
Yes, Amadeus.
Okay, that is a wits, I believe.
Excellent. So I was going to say, yeah, so you haven't got the grit for the big cast, but you're kind of reaching out far. And I'm going to say, if wires can be successful with a grit check, then you're going to make contact. You're going to get a grab. So you didn't get a strange.
So here's the question.
Mhm.
I didn't calm myself down, so I'm still terrified.
Yes.
I have +2 to grit, or I have 2 grit. So does that mean I don't roll anything, or does that just do I get like
a minimum of 1? So it'll be minimum.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. I will also roll 1 dice and see what happens.
Oh, yes. So with that, your hand kind of scrapes against things, but you're both kind of sweaty with fear, and you don't kind of get kind of any grip. But I was going to say, if you want to use the rest of your action, Eddie, to kind of like crawl forwards and kind of get to the car, I'll say that will use up all of your turn.
I think what I'm going to do is look at wires, and I'm going to say, go, dismantle that stereo. And I'm going to, rather than try and get him, try and push him in to the car, knowing that I'll have sacrificed myself. If that's possible to do.
Yeah, I mean,
it depends very much on what Wires decides to do to that, I guess.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Wires, do you want to resist that?
I don't know. I think I probably would, but I'm also terrified. But I think I'd also be terrified of anybody staying. Yeah, I feel like I would push against that.
Okay.
Which is unhelpful, I know.
No. I mean, I would say that I'm not particularly strong enough to do that. It's more of a gesture than a thing. But if you're trying to get me into the car. I'm not trying to get into the car, but I'm kind of trying to suggest, leave me behind. I'm concussed and weak.
So I'm gonna say you've kind of crawled up, and you're kind of like pushing on Wires' chest, like go, like trying to push him in. And he's like, no, it's okay. But I'm gonna say in the interim of this, if basically in the background of this happening, is Giggles is slowly getting up and looming up, and has kind of his mallet at the ready. He's going to start kind of slowly stepping towards you. Some say I'm a sad clown, some say I'm a mad clown. What little know is that I am the bad clown. As he's just kind of moving his way towards you. And I'm going to say he gets very, very close, but if you want to kind of just all bundle into the car now, as his movement is him kind of getting up and moving towards you, then you can. And that will allow D-bogs to start driving.
Yeah. If Wires is not going to go, then I'll go with him. I'll go in.
So I'm gonna say, like, you kind of like beat against Wires' chest, like get in, leave him high, and then Wires. I imagine you just see the cloud. He just almost like grab Eddie and just go,
no,
just fall backwards as the car slams and just drive. And D-bogs, I'm assuming you're gonna punch it on the accelerator.
Yeah.
And terrifyingly, it begins to putter. And you realize this is a clown car. It doesn't have amazing acceleration. So I would like you to roll a smarts check for me to kind of start doing your gear shifts and getting them in good time to get moving quickly. As you hear the as Giggle's still that is starting to gain pace as the kind of wooziness is leaving him as he's running after you.
Oh, this isn't my dad's Chevy.
Too strange.
Too strange.
Oh,
One smart.
so you've got one, so it starts to speed up, and it starts to get going. We're on 27. But what I'm going to say it's just being like, oh no, that vehicle's not licensed to you. I can't get any more points. And you see him leap forward, and you hear a as you kind of hear something grab onto the top of the clown car, and it still is going, but you can feel some weight dragging out on the back. And as you look in the rear wind view mirror, you can kind of see you just dragging this clown in the dirt of him, like kind of he's lost his mallet now, and he's trying to kind of climb up the car. As you see, like his nails seem a little too long and sharp as his gloves have been eroded away, and as he looks up, you see it just for a flash, D-bogs, in the mirror, where the ground has scraped against his face. It's pulled away some of the makeup and skin and revealed just this large maw of strange teeth, layered and layered and layered like a shark's inside his skull. He's been like, come on, just let me tell you one more joke. As he starts crawling up the surface of the car.
Oh, he's not just a clown.
Yeah. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all an opportunity as you burst out of the back of the kind of big top tent. You're now like circling around through the carnival and trying to work your way towards the gate that you smashed open. You're like circling around any old creaking Ferris wheel at the moment, heading back towards the amusements. But I'm going to give you all one action to try and shake off Giggles the clown. This can be anything you want, like make suggestions, have a think as he is slowly kind of crawling his way up. And if there are enough failures, Giggles might get to act and potentially scupper your escape plans.
Okay, well, I'm driving, so my course of action is going to be to swerve the clown car like through as many kind of like tents and stalls as possible to try and like break him off in rubble. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
I'm going to throw the baseball bat at him because I'm good at throwing things.
Excellent.
I would have definitely trusted you with the bat.
Okay. Excellent. So, yes, what are you thinking, Wise?
How is he within? Like, is any part of him within reaching distance of my hand?
I think you could reach out of the window. You'd have to risk opening the window and leaning out, and his hands like on top of the roof, like digging into the metal now with these kind of odd claws. So you could reach out and go like that on top of him potentially.
Yeah, that's my thinking. Just to try and zap him off if I can.
Okay, and what about Eddy in the back?
I've got a baseball. If I was allowed to pick it up after it struck my head.
Yeah, I'll allow that as an action that you've picked up the baseball.
In that classic way, I'm going to try and if we can sort of see his face and his maw, I'm just going to try and jam it into his mouth. Quite potentially dangerous. It might close down on my arm, but I'm going to try and ram it to silence him. No more jokes from you.
Excellent. Okay, so the order that we're going to go in, I'm going to say Snivels, load up that baseball bat and get it lobbed. So roll a wit check for me to see if you can spear it at him.
Yep. And I'm probably going to accompany it with some witticism like, "Hey, clown, show's over." And I can't see that actually.
Yeah, no. So you've got 2 successes, but also 2 grits. You just hurl this baseball bat, and it kind of like smashes kind of into his mouth, and you see shards of wood kind of go into his throat. He's going and bites down on it and snaps it in half. But he goes, "Oh, that didn't go down a treat."
Drive.
as he kind of chews through the kind of remaining wood. And as he continues to try and kind of crawl up, wires kind of priming your shock little shock buzzer. The I can't remember what I called it. The shock 3000.
Yep.
Can you roll a smarts check for me to reach up and slap down on the approaching clawed hand?
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay. So that has triggered a doom event. So what I am gonna say that does is I'm gonna let you reach up, you reach down, and you slam down his hand and you shock him. And it deals with a decent amount of damage. You hear him howl. This is the first time he's made a noise that isn't a giggle or a laugh. But as your kind of hand rests there, shocking, the large, strange-jawed mouth unhinges like a snake, reaches forward, and bites down on your hand and bites it clean off. So you're going to take 3 sharp damage.
Oh.
And you are now have 1 hand. You also now don't have a shock buzzer.
Yes, that would be
Not the shock buzzer.
So yes, so can you roll a luck check for me to see if you can actually no, you can't roll a luck check for that. You've lost a hand. You're bleeding. I think I can't warrant that one, unfortunately.
Yeah,
yes.
no, I think I'm into trauma, prepared for more.
So now I would like you to kind of hold the wheel steady for us, D-bogs, as you kind of see like blood flecks splash back into the car, as you see Wires kind of sitting down in the back holding onto the stump that is kind of his right hand. And yes, so roll a grit check for me to hold the wheel steady as you start careening straight towards Zoltan, the fortune teller.
Oh no. Oh no.
The dice are telling a story.
Oh my god, okay.
So that's 8
yes,
strange or 1 success.
Yes. So that 1 success, like a little bit of the kind of glass flies up and you see it slices away kind of more of the face of Giggles. But what I'm also gonna say is that as you crash through, the kind of wavering hand of Zoltan gets stuck in the wheel, and at the minute you are set now in your position and you're heading straight towards the chain link's fence rather than the gate, unless you can kind of get that free in time. Now we're going to come back to Eddy. Is now you kind of leaning out in the car and you've got your baseball primed, ready to kind of throw it into Giggles' mouth.
I'm a little bit worried now, having seen what it's just done to Wires, but in a last attempt, I throw it, trying to knock him off the car, getting into his mouth.
Okay. Do you say anything to Giggles as you lob your baseball?
I think I will say, choke on this, and really try and throw it down his maw, really.
I tell you what, we're being kind of lax action is chasing, and I very much like that line. Throwing major advantage, so throwing a talent die as you try to ram this baseball down his throat and stop him from telling a joke again.
I think that's going to be. Is it grit that I need to do, or is it?
So are you punching? Are you punching it in? Or are you lobbing it?
I'm going to try and throw it after seeing what the maw did.
So that'll be wit, yeah, and that will keep you a little bit further away.
So 2 dice plus the talent dice. Here we go.
Amazing. Yes, excellent. So with that and a luck, I'm going to say, you can choke on this, and you can hear him just be like, "Have you ever heard the one about?" And as the baseball just kind of gets stuck, kind of in his mouth, and you see him go, and he can't kind of seem to get through it. And as it he tries to swallow, it gets stuck kind of in his throat, and he kind of starts clawing kind of at his own throat. And I'm going to say, D-bogs, can you roll a grit check for me to see if you can dislodge that arm before you crash into the gate?
Can we help him?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes, if you'd like to roll checks and lean forward from the back seat and like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're in the passenger seat.
I'll be in the passenger seat, so I'll be trying to help him. So it's grit.
Yes. So if D-bogs you want to roll grit, and then yes, Snivels you roll grit as well.
Yeah.
Why has I found your hand?
I got 2 luck.
Oh, I'm gonna say with that actually, smashing those together to make a success.
Yeah.
You reach over, and I'm gonna say with it, if you want, you now have a big mannequin that I will just allow you to turn around and smack Giggles with for free.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, fantastic. You kind of reach out, pull it out, turn around, and see this water just as he swallows it, passes through, and he kind of starts trying to crawl through the back window. You back it, smash him, and you see his body fly off the back of the car and roll kind of into the dust of the carnival as you, D-bogs, swerve the car just to the left, narrowly avoiding crashing into the chain link fence as this tiny clown car putters away kind of into the night and away from the carnival. And the last thing you hear is the haunting. Oh, you really were an entertaining crowd. As the kind of sights of the old fairground fade away in the distance. And
so it's either party or emergency room. All in favour of party, raise your hand.
I never want to see any one of you again.
Yeah, we've got to look after wires first.
I'm out of the car. I'm going. The moment we hit a road, I'm going to a gas station. I'm calling my mother and getting her to pick me up. There is no way I want to see any of you again. If I find out any of you are going to the same college as me, I am quitting and switching.
Yeah. So D-bogs makes that joke. Snivels opens the car, rolls out, runs into the woods. He knows roughly where north is. He's gone. He's out.
Born free.
So yes, you kind of reach a T-junction, and the left takes you to the emergency room. The right towards Monica Spewett's house. And I think by the sounds of the group, D-bogs, your hand rests over the indicator, wanting to go right to Monica Spewett's, but then hits down to go left, and you turn, heading towards the bright lights of the hospital to wrap up Wires' hand. Do any of you have any final words as you drive away into the night, leaving Giggles laughing on the carnival grounds?
I hope Snivels is going to be okay. I mean, the legend about those woods, that he's just... and that's all I say.
I think the last thing Snivels does is hears a noise behind him as he's walking along and just...
Yeah. And it just have it as a freeze frame, and it's just and you just have Rudy Snivels which was never seen again, multiple surgeries under nice fizz, and then just you have freeze frames for all of you as you've all disappeared in some future horrifying thing. But yes, potentially next time we will be investigating the disappearance of Snivels and what has happened to him in those deep dark woods. Yes.
No one's coming after me.
Absolutely amazing. And I'd just like to say to any other players that ever join us, that's what happens when you throw a baseball at me. I have that final line and I destroy you.
Yeah.
Off scene, of course.
That was a lot of
Amazing.
fun.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Charlie.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
very,
mate. Absolute
very
pleasure.
enjoyable evening. Really, really appreciated it. I hope we were okay as players, sort of new players to the system. I hope we were playing in the kind of style It felt very cinematic to me. It was glorious to take part. I want to
Oh
say,
yeah, look, you're all fantastic. You really got the 80s surprisingly dark teen slasher horror movie vibe down to a T. Like yeah, everyone had such kind of great kind of little character moments throughout that, which was wonderful. So yeah, no,
it was beautiful.
absolute pleasure. I'm really glad you've enjoyed kind of playing with the system, and hopefully we can do some more in the future. I'm very curious to see what you would like to run, Andy.
Yeah,
Actually,
I mean, I like shiny things, so I want to run everything all of the time. It's like, no, this kind of cinematic systems, is what I'm most fond of, rather than very, very crunchy systems. So maybe we'll get the team together. Maybe if you've got a free moment, we might invite you to actually be a player in your own in the things that you wrote. I would certainly like that, and you're certainly welcome at my table at any time.
thank you.
I've already got ideas. I mean, the kind of genre as well is what I love. These kind of movies that they all sort of we draw influence from. But it was beautifully done. Thank you very much to the cast, to Adam, to Matt, and to Kristian. I mean, I think we've started a rivalry here of escalation. The only real problem is that I'm playing in one of his games on stream.
Yes,
Very,
you
very
are.
soon. Yeah, okay. No, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who stayed with us in chat. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a learning curve and you kind of saw how glorious the system is. I want to say a big thank you to anybody who's watching video on demand on sort of catch up. Hope you very much enjoyed that. And if you did like it, give us a like and a sub, but more importantly, put some comments down. Whether you want to see more of this, and if so, the kind of thing that you want to see. It's the time has just flown by. I mean, I can't believe we've sort of a little bit overrun, but sort of 10:30 already. It feels like it's been a few moments. Any final comments? Anybody else?
I'm just uploading an image of Snivels as I see him to the fan art channel in Twisted Narrative Discord server. So if anyone wants to know how I pictured him in my head, I've just uploaded that there.
Perfect.
So that's
Lovely.
Just from my perspective, really, really nice system, really easy to pick up. So well done, guys, and thank you very much.
Oh, thanks so much. Cheers.
Yeah, no, it's great, and yeah, my brain is already fizzing with thoughts as well.
Yeah. And I suppose finally, as we bring this actual play to an end, please support the Shiver team. All of their socials are in the comments below. Check them out if you like what you see. I believe you've got a Patreon. Is that how we pronounce it? Patreon.
Yes. Yes. So we launched a Patreon at the end of January. So what we're doing now is every month we're releasing on the lowest tier a full blown kind of adventure story for people to play through, fully fleshed out, can play right out of the box, kind of like straight from the PDF, and run an adventure from there. Our second tier, we have case files, some of which are Adam's kind of just had some of his very first case files released. So we've had so far a creepy plague doctor of Derleth Marsh, one of my absolute favorites. I know that one's been going down very well when two agents go and investigate a tidal island infested by plague. And news of a ghostly plague doctor. But those are, as I've kind of said before in the previous 6 o'clock club interview, not full adventures, but loads of ideas, loads of tools, items, and stuff to flesh out your stories. And then at our top tier, it varies from member to member of the team, but we're releasing a new horror-themed RPG game, mini system, or story, or kind of extra piece of content. That's there on that top tier. So it's us experimenting, playing around with lots of ideas. So recently we released What Lurks Beneath. It's a micro RPG you can print on your home printer, fold up into one sheet of paper, and play some deep sea horror. So if that all sounds really interesting, please go check out our Patreon. the one I always forget, we also do Shiver horror ambiences. So if you like these stories, I sound design hour-long loops of noises, creepy music and stuff that you can play whilst you're playing our specific stories as well. So yes, please go check out the Patreon. Give us a subscribe if it sounds like it's something you're very interested in. And the other thing I would shout out as well, as quickly as a kind of Andy and Matt, you've kind of mentioned your brains fizzing with ideas. We do have a OGL and an SRD for Shiver. We really want people to kind of make their own content, publish it, get it out there. You can charge people for it, kind of do whatever you want with it. But we really want to see other people's stories, other people's work, because our ethos is very much that the system is a facilitator for other people to tell their stories.
Yeah.
And we would really like to see that. So if you're interested in doing that for Shiver and you want any advice, join our Discord. Feel free to drop us a message. We're always very open to kind of helping people out, making their own content. So yeah, top of that, stay spooky, everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And I
Thank
say,
you.
check out all of those links in our chat. I very much got a very strong feeling it won't be the last time that we see Charlie and Adam and we play Shiver in one form or another. So without further ado, I'll say a good night to everybody. Thank you for watching, and be careful of the dark and the things that go bump in it. Goodbye for now.